Hi, I'm Raymond, and oh, my throat went a bit weird there. Hi, I'm Raymond, and you're listening to Insert Quest here, and today's quest is Base Raiders. This is our new campaign, the Raiderade Race to the Adventure. Fuck, I fucked that up immediately. The Raiderade Race to the Base Adventure Race International Series. Whew, 2017.
Race.
We'll just be calling it Adventure Base Raiding for short. So Base Raiders, for those that don't know, is a super-powered game where all the superheroes and supervillains disappeared after an event called Ragnarok. But they left behind all their shit. Did I? Fuck!
Yep.
They left behind all their shit, like their superhero bases, like, you know, Batman's Fortress of Solitude, a villain's one that I can't... The Hall of Doom, I think that's a thing. The Clubhouse of Evil. All that sort of stuff was left behind. And so after a few months, people were like, hang on a minute, we can break in there and get superpowers. And so people did. So this game is essentially a dungeon crawling game where you have superpowers as opposed to being fantasy characters. It can be about, you know, making profit, can be all capitalistic, it can just be that the base rating is a means to become superheroes. What we've chosen, though, is that for our characters, base rating is a means to stardom and riches. They are professional base raiders in a sport known as adventure base raiding. They and other competing teams are told the general area where a base can be found, and then have to try and get to the base before the other teams and make that base safe to traverse before one of the other teams can do it. They have 5 days to accomplish this task, and they are filmed 24/7. Well, 24/5, I guess, as they're going this. There are 6 races per series, so the players and I will be designing those 6. The first one they've designed is in the Nile Delta, but we'll get to that in a moment. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have our players introduce themselves and their characters, and then we're going to fill in a couple of blanks about their characters and backgrounds, and then we're going to kick things off with a nice, overly dramatic intro. So, who wants to introduce themselves first? Ryan does!
I will.
There you go. Oh, no.
Because everyone else is muted.
Cool.
I'm Finn. I'm playing Yuri, who is the ghost of a professional rally raid racer, resurrected into a mechanical samurai body, and now with the ability to possess machines, specifically the car in which we enter a race in is one of my main forms.
Indeed. So, Yuri is both their driver and their transport.
Yes.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
All right, I guess I will. Hey, everybody. I'm Ryan. In this campaign, I'm going to be playing Amriel, the fallen angel. She was a demon, or she still is a demon, but about a century ago, she was summoned to Earth by a sorceress named Azvira the Wicked, and she was held in thrall most of that time, used as sort of like a bodyguard and magical muscle. And then when Ragnarok happened, my mistress disappeared mysteriously, leaving me free to my own devices. I came into base raiding because after the sorceress disappeared, a bunch of her other magical thralls and I were sort of holed up in her inner sanctum, and it was raided by base raiders, and my character saw an opportunity to improve her position and not have to live in a dusty old library. So she turned traitor on all of the other magical beings and helped the base raiders, and has since turned to become a competitive base raider.
Nice.
All right, then. I am Alex. You probably know me from the Ragnarok podcast, or the Ragnarok, where all the superheroes went away.
One of the two.
Yeah, one of those two. And I am going to be playing Greg, the hyper-intelligent alien nanoswarm. He is a floating cloud of nanoscopic alien microbes that come together to form this entity. He was born off the Gestalt cloud on Resendif 6, and he was sent to Earth to scout it out for a possible invasion / conquering / get-together, depending on how things went. When he arrived on Earth, he learned that his entire race had been enslaved to be a never-ending fuel source, or I should say lift source, for the terrible war zeppelins of the Zikloth, who are feared across the galaxy. So he joined the base racing movement because he figured that would be the best way for him to find these bases and break into them and get stuff to hopefully save his species. He's super smart, and his thing is that as he is a cloud of nanobots, he can envelop things and manipulate them. So he's really good at studying things and taking them apart, and sometimes even putting them back together. I realize one of my skills gives me treatment physical, so if anyone's hurt, I can fix them.
I can't. Did you say that you're an organic cloud? Like you're.
I said microbes, didn't I? I meant nanobots.
Right. Because
Yeah.
that's fine. There are. I just was trying to remember the actual term for organic nanomachines. There's a word for it. I can't remember what it is.
Oh. Well, maybe he's that. And if you stand inside of him, he smells like a fart.
Wonderful. One second.
Don't die, Raymond.
All of a sudden, I started coughing. It was horrible.
Hillary Clinton?
Oh, topical, I assume, because I don't watch the news.
She coughed today, and that was a thing.
Oh, so we're reenacting the plot of Doctor Who?
I guess.
Oh, Prime Minister, you look tired.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Prime Minister going to have to retire? A spaceman said she looked tired. Does that mean she's going to die?
Yep.
So, you guys got, I don't know how you all first met each other, but the reason, but we're going to get into that in a moment. You're, however, new to the pro circuit of adventure-based raiding, after having won a regional event in Sydney, that basically got you entered as the rookie wild card for this season of the international series. But how did you guys first team up as an adventure-based raiding team? Does anyone have any thoughts on that? I imagine it wasn't at the event that you got in for, because I don't think you would have won.
If we had just fallen together.
I don't think you even would have been sent an invite.
Everyone likes Greg.
I suppose, well, I feel like of the characters, myself, Yuri, would have, like, I was sought out base rating, like, deliberately.
Yeah, because it has some familiarity to you.
Yes,
and also
and
makes
like,
use of your new skills.
Yeah, as a thing of like my desire and like need to race. Essentially, it seemed like the next best thing, and after dying, it's kind of hard to top that. So like, this seemed like a good option.
So maybe you put out a want ad in the base rating underground.
Mm-hmm. I've wanted other people to be in car.
Machine-possessing ghost looking for fellow base raiders to join base raiding team. base racing team.
Well, machine ghosts need repair sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm good at that.
Yeah, I feel like my character probably would have answered one of those ads because she has the complication aspect, the me in team, so she's in it for herself.
Oh no. Can't wait to compel that.
And she probably would have figured that, a ghost could use a nice big bruiser demon to follow them around and keep them safe.
A ghost could really use a demon to boss them around.
Right.
And a machine ghost, definitely, or at least the machine part, Greg has not yet been able to figure out how to manipulate the ghost part. But the machine part can always be fixed, or taken apart, both of which are things Greg likes to do.
Fantastic. So what was this, what was your inaugural base? Actually, I have a question. Yuri, when they all joined up, did you, put them through any kind of training, or did you just go, let's just dive in head first and see how we play in the field?
Just hit the ground running.
Yeah.
See, I feel like any
Learn by doing.
Yeah, see, any prior structure I would have had for how do we figure out whether we're suitable candidates or not wouldn't have really applied, and then would have been okay, so a cloud and a demon, not really sure what criteria we need to test here. Yeah, so I feel like it would have been a trial by fire, if anything.
All right, so where was this base that you first hit?
Well, I guess, okay, well, if I was, okay, so my, origin is essentially that I was resurrected into a samurai army warrior body by the villain Cyberneto.
Cyberneto loved robot armies, but was not a big fan of programming. And so, how do you get around that? Summon ghosts into your robots to act as their minds.
Yeah, then you slave them to the machines, and you're good.
Yeah.
So I feel like in my head, Cyberneto was Japan-based.
Yeah. It's on the archipelago.
Maybe one of the volcanoes?
Sure. There's that island where everyone has to permanently wear gas masks. Maybe somebody had a base there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds
Well,
fantastic.
Greg doesn't breathe, so sure.
Yeah. Now, we're meant to be using these to create aspects, I believe.
Yes.
We're
going to get a crossover adventure aspect.
Yeah. I'm wondering... 1 second, sorry. You guys discuss more about this, how this went.
Because we got drafted.
True. Well, we got drafted in a later race. That doesn't necessarily mean that this one went well.
True.
This one could have been a horrible failure.
Why not both? No.
Maybe it went to hell.
Maybe there was a fourth team member that didn't make it out.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it went to hell, and the base was completely destroyed, but we managed to get out with some loot. Barely.
Just enough
barely
to
alive.
cover your losses.
Right.
Well,
which included a person.
I don't understand why the Gestalt doesn't just spawn another one, but apparently that's a big thing for humans.
Why does not the human Gestalt form a new one of this individual?
You humans can reproduce. Why
to
not
perform his role?
Exactly.
Why does your Gestalt take so long to program new members?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm wondering whether if in that catastrophic failure of this raid, that race, that whether in some way either my car or my samurai were horribly destroyed. Maybe that was
What about this? What about this? So it was a miserable failure. We barely got out with our lives, but it was really well publicized, and it looked really cool, and that's why we got invited rather to the pro circuit.
There is an awesome picture of us emerging from like one of those. Everything explodes behind you and you don't look back, and the photographer happened to get like this awesome shot of us running away where we looked cool.
No one knew that the reason Yuri wasn't looking back was because the motivators on his neck bracket were completely locked.
Exactly. And no one ever knows where
we were walking away from was the car or something.
Okay. So that's how you got invited to the pro circuit. You know, they're like, all right, you did really good on that volcano run. Get yourselves to Sydney. Why? What's in Sydney? Chance at the big time. All right, cool.
So what aspects could we take from that?
I assume you can all take different aspects.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open the base rating book and see if there's like a thing that tells me how to do this to give you advice.
One of my aspects, just so you know, is already a complication, a minor complication.
Well, these don't have to be complications.
I know. I'm just trying to. I just want to let you
know.
know.
We all have a complication, do we?
You guys are the ones that are making these aspects, so I'm not gonna force anything. I will make suggestions if you can't come up with something.
I'm trying to think of something about me being like torn apart and put back together. Humpty Dumpty.
Keep thinking out loud. I need
Humpty
to go
Dumpty
check
syndrome.
Yeah, something about like being torn apart and put back together repeatedly.
Well, Humpty Dumpty couldn't be put back together.
No.
So what is something that... Osiris syndrome. And that sounds a lot cooler.
It does.
Because Osiris was cut apart and then put back together.
Yeah. That sounds relevant. What? Yeah, regeneration, rebirth. That sounds legit.
I kind of want. Yeah, that could. I don't know what. I don't know how that would benefit you though. Like, as an aspect.
When would I invoke Osiris syndrome?
Yeah. When would you invoke I was broken a lot and put back together?
But I guess that could come into like it would be useful in like adapting to like.
I was gonna say you could play on what doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Yeah. Use it to defend against things.
So because you've been broken before, you're not as likely to be terrified by it happening again. So like maybe you say that you can be like, so an example is like, oh, your arm flies off. You're like, I'm gonna, you know, power through this.
Yeah, adapting
like
to
someone's like,
functioning on.
If you don't do what I say, I'm gonna tear you limb from limb. And you're like, fuck you, mate. I've suffered through that before. Been there, done that.
Maybe you also learned like how much of your body could be destroyed because when you were first put into it, you didn't know like how the possession worked. So if you lost your arm, it would be like a biological arm, and you're shit out of luck. But then you learned that, oh no, I can just get it reattached and it works fine.
And like I could.
What doesn't kill me lets me know my limits.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like pushing when I'm essentially half failed, but I can still like push past that and stuff. Yeah. Good. Also, I'm all in favor of any kind of aspect that can easily be compelled, because bad things are good.
Yeah.
Oops, your body fell apart again.
Good. Okay.
Now I'm just picturing how Barto from Ghost in the Shell is always buying weight training equipment. Like,
I was picturing Edward Alphonse from Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yeah, he's always breaking his arm.
Yeah. Wait, no, not Edward. The big one of the suit of armor.
The big one? Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah, I can't remember his name either. Alphonse?
I thought their last name was Alphonse. No, their last Alphonse.
Their last name's
Elric. It's Elric. Yes, it is Alphonse. Okay.
because they call him Al.
Yeah.
You can call me Al. Do you all have aspects? I had to go check a thing.
Oh, I don't think Ryan and I do.
All right.
I have one free that I was saving
Yeah.
for my. I think I'm going to do something.
Oh well, if you don't want to have one for the crossover adventure, that's fine. I think the crossover adventure one's optional.
Yeah. Equally, like you
So-
can swap any one of your frees for.
yeah.
If you just want to leave one free, that's fine. I just know that Finn really wanted to do it because he
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah.
it several
Yeah.
times.
So what happens if we have a free aspect? That's
You fill it in. You fill it in as we play. It's basically like you leave it blank, so because you don't yet know everything about how you're going to use your character, so you leave it
Gotcha.
free, so you can be like, "Oh, I have this aspect related to this thing about my background that I didn't mention till just now." It's
gotcha.
meant to be done
Okay.
in the first couple of runs.
Yeah. But I think in this it was sort of, well, when I was reading the character stuff, it was like strongly essentially like fill in an aspect for every one of your background questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it seemed. I was saving that one for the crossover adventure, but I can't think of
Yeah,
anything.
But
good.
then like equally I think it's fine if you like save it
If you
for
can't
later.
think of anything good, that's fine. You can kind of use this first one as well. Like you might think of something good as we're playing.
Yeah.
I think I might do something related to the minor internet celebrity that came from that video of us escaping the volcano base.
Uh-huh.
Shaky cam footage celebrity.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a piece of the fart. Be mine for that. Also, I'm pretty sure I have somehow fucked up my stress because I don't have anything, and I know I have some bonuses, but when that happens, we'll get to that.
I'm not quite sure what you mean. Is this link perhaps your character sheet?
No, I can. No, I can't send you my character sheet. Can I?
No, that's fine. I just wasn't sure what this link you dropped was.
That was just like my aspects and what's not.
Okay, well, I don't have permission to actually open that, but I'm sure it's
Really?
good.
Okay, well, then I will change that right now. I figure so at least that way you can know what to compel or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will probably have to start making a list of those.
That's why I dropped my doc in the thing as well.
I'll probably put them in the campaign notes at some point.
That again.
Yeah,
There we go. That one should work.
oh yeah. Sure-footed and hard-headed.
Just so
That's
you
not
know,
an aspect, that's just
I have a pair of aspects. One is everything can be disassembled, and my minor complication is, but not everything can be reassembled.
Oh, that's like Johnny 5.
Well, when Greg first landed in a cornfield in Kansas, the kindly old farming couple that pulled him out of his pod, he disassembled them to find out how humans work and was unable to put them back together. I still feel bad
my
about that.
favorite twist on Superman ever. That's even better than Lois Lane and Clark Kent first having sex. Like, what
Yeah.
the hell is that? The pincers. Why do you have pincers? To stop you from running away.
I also have a like double barrel aspect, which is like darkest moment is thrown into the abyss of when I died, and joining the movement is came back for more.
Nice.
Oh,
Back for
nice.
more, nice.
I love that. Oh, aspects are so fun to name.
Yeah.
They are.
Greg. Oh, okay, cool. So everyone's
Yes,
fine.
it's 3 Gs, Greg.
Yeah. Does everybody
Hey.
fine to kick things off then?
Sure.
Yep.
And you can
Yeah.
fill in your blank aspect as we play. All right.
Let's do it.
So, where is my thing? All right. So, you guys have been chilling on the outskirts of Alexandria for about a week now. You were flown here pretty much straight. Well, no, you would have after the Sydney event. You were told you would have a month to get to Cairo. The rep from Raiderade that was basically set up to handle your travel noted that it would be difficult for you to smuggle yourselves aboard standard airlines So they arranged for a charter plane to take you from Sydney to wherever you needed to go to prep yourselves. And then you would have been taken from there to Alexandria in advance of the Raiderade competition. The other teams, though, don't really show up until like a day before things are meant to be kicking off. The True Survivors, which are basically action movie heroes from a parallel Earth, who are basically expatriates living here as their retirement, and this is what they do for fun. They rock up with a 6-wheeled Land Cruiser and 2 dirt bikes and a very shoddy-looking marquee. Their camp looks like a combination of Spring Break and Kruger from Elysium barbecuing. There's cyborgs in board. There's a cyborg in board shorts, constantly cooking and drinking beer. There's someone that looks like David Hasselhoff, if he was Hispanic, working on the Land Cruiser. There's this Asian-looking gentleman constantly working out and doing martial arts stances. They just seem to be like just relaxing and enjoying it. The Valkyrs show up in a decommissioned Russian military plane. All 10 of them strut out the back as their armored personnel carrier that has been stripped of all weapons is slowly rolled down the back ramp, and then 2 support trailers roll out, as well as a bunch of doctors. Their prep seems to mostly be checking their firearms and injecting themselves with various serums. They're all women as well. The Valkyrs take this perhaps a little too seriously. They don't send out all 10 of them, though, when they kick things off. They just, they'll like choose the 5 that are best suited for the task at hand based on, the research that they've done. And then how is their name pronounced? Then the TKS Super Race Team, the Brazilian Japanese motorsports team, show up. They actually seem to be coming from nearby because they fly over with a very strange looking car strapped to the bottom of a twin propeller heavy lifting helicopter. And then they drop this down, and then they a semi shows up an hour or so later with a bunch of it's just like a normal sort of support trailer you'd see for motorsport. So it unfolds into all these tool bays and everything, and they start and then the triplets, who are the TKS Super Race Team, start tuning the engine and checking the wheel pressure and all this stuff. You're a bit put off by the fact that you'd been hanging around for a week and everyone else just shows up the day before. You feel a bit like, the kids that show up way too early to the first day of school, or, showing up to your first university/college class and no one else is there. you know, not quite sure why no one else turned up early. You're not quite sure what everyone else was doing. But do you guys do anything on the day that everyone arrives? Do you try and interact with any of the other teams?
Greg would very much like to go over to the Super Sports team and look at their car.
TKS?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, So it's at a distance, it looks kind of like a heavy suspension muscle car. But as you get closer, it's more like a ute or what would be an American equivalent of a ute? An El Camino. An El Camino is like a ute. You know,
Okay.
it looks like a muscle car with like a tray on the back.
Okay.
Like a Hilux, like a technical. But it looks like there's meant to be a tray at the back, but there's not a tray. There's all this fucking equipment and like this large sort of sci-fi looking thing, and you realize that that's like a power plant for a builder base tech base. Like that's essentially a fusion reactor powering their car.
Ooh.
As you get really close, you notice the tire treads on the wheels are changing thickness and pattern. As the engineer for what is the engineer for TKS's name? As Takuma is sitting there with like a ruggedized touchpad. Like running through a bunch of options. You see him like pressing stuff and the tread like changing its configuration. It sort of ripples a bit as it changes. You see Koki messing with the comms that are strapped to the roof of it. He seems to be like patching something. And you see Ayumi sitting in the driver's seat doing a bunch of checks. They all have sort of servo harnessy looking things strapped to them, kind of similar to the stuff that makes up your teammate Yuri. That make up Yuri's android body, his robot body.
Okay.
So like that's probably where all of the TKS team are essentially adepts. They're all like really skilled at the thing they do, and then like super smart or super gifted as a pilot or whatever, and then they have like, you know, just some light tech to give them, not really superpowers, but to give them enough. They're kind of engineer their way out of a problem is their shtick. But yeah, they're working on their car. I'm trying to find a picture for you.
So, Greg has one of his skill trappings is languages at Ascendant, so he speaks every language on Earth. So as he floats over, he says in Japanese, "Greetings, fellow base racers. That is a very interesting transportation machine you have."
Thanks.
Greg.
Greg. Right, Greg.
Yes. It is the closest approximation that I could create for humans to understand. My name is the sound that the hunter storms on my home planet make as they prowl the plains.
The hunter storms.
Yes, they hunt us.
As the name would suggest, I suppose. Can we help you out with something?
I just wanted to admire your machine. One of my teammates is usually something like that.
Right, yeah. You guys have that ghost in the machine guy, right?
Indeed. May I examine your car?
You see them. You see the two of the triplets look to Takuma, who's the engineer, and also the oldest of the triplets.
Mhm.
And he sort of rolls his eyes, and then Kayuki, the one that was working on the radio, is like, "Yeah, okay, sure, I guess. Just don't mess with anything. We're trying to get ready for the race, you know."
Oh, no. Of
Yeah.
course. And Greg just slowly, like a cloud, like a fog bank, just passes over the car. And I would like to, I would like to use one of my skills as alien super scientist, and I have the examine trapping for that. So I would like to roll to see what I can learn, like if I can figure out what their car can do.
Sure, go for it. You hear Ayumi go, "What's that smell?"
Yeah. So if it's at ascendant, I still have to roll, or I don't remember. Or should I just
Closed, so you probably don't have to roll.
Okay.
They're not trying to hide anything from you.
All right. So it's
this,
a good rating ascendance.
Yeah, this car is like... This car, as I've already pointed out, has like adaptable wheels.
Yeah.
And is powered by a fusion plant. It also has sort of this pop-up swivel-mounted laser gun embedded in the bonnet. You also detect that the suspension is programmable. The outer layer, which looks like steel, is actually a metal ceramic sandwiched nano-weave composite with a non-Newtonian component between the layers.
Okay, so lots of armor.
Well, not... It can stand up to, like, any Earth military. It probably wouldn't hold up against someone with, like, laser beam eyes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What is the name of that movie? Yeah. It also seems to have water processing capacity, but it doesn't have a lot of storage, so they can't be. And you don't find any really food stores. You see that there's sort of like not cargo racks, but like there's sort of these nets that are attached to the rear back, the rear sides, like of where the tray part is, where they've got their fusion plant and a bunch of other like tools and stuff embedded. And you think they're probably going to strap their food and emergency medical supplies to that.
Okay.
But they won't. They're not going to have a lot of food, so you can tell that this thing goes damn fast.
Right.
And it also appears to have some kind of thrusters around it. So you suspect that their plan is speed, and their plan for dealing with wading through the Nile Delta is to not. They're going to jump it.
Interesting. So I guess I will ask Yuri if he has allowed me to examine his car in the past.
Yes, I would have.
Yeah.
Presumably.
So is this
If you put
better
it back
than
together
Yuri's
again.
car?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But, there are some similarities in design, actually.
Four wheels.
If you're still going on that image that you sent me.
Yes. So my car is essentially like a.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, that.
Yeah, like an early '80s small two-door sedan that's then been modified with articulated telescopic suspension, essentially giant tractor tires, and then the front hub is essentially like a double-layered grille because it has multiple change motors,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah,
But it
so
is,
like
it's essentially mundane.
while the triplets have like fusion power, your ghost driver has gotten extra horsepower by putting like 2 fucking engines in it.
We have ghost power.
Specifically, the skill is 10 1.6 liter engines. Its aspect is 6 speed, 900 horsepower, 2-door sedan.
Nice.
Okay.
I put 2 images in there
Alright.
that'll give you a rough idea of the shape of the triplets car.
Yep.
So I compliment. I say, "Oh wow, you have quite an exquisite vehicle."
Thanks. Yours is unique. Yeah, unique.
This one has yet to see another car like it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Real unique.
Well, good luck, fellow base racer. And I float
Mm.
away, back to my team.
Good luck, Greg. What a weird guy. Fucking base raiders, man. We're all such a strange lot. Whatever happened to, like, just a bunch of humans and shit?
Ryan, does your character need food?
I think she eats. Whether or not she needs it is kind of up for debate, I guess.
Okay. Because I was just because they're mentioning their food and provisions and everything, we could save space because at least 2 of us do not need to eat.
Well,
So-
I would argue that just because you don't necessarily need to eat doesn't mean that you don't need some kind of upkeep. Like, unless you've got like a superpower that is like super endurance or whatever, I would argue that you need some kind of input because thermodynamics. Like, I would argue that Fart needs to consume energy. Whether he can get that by just disassembling sand, I don't care. Like,
Okay.
that's fine, but like you need.
I mean, in
some
either
kind
case,
of input.
if I need to disassemble stuff to refill my cloud, I can do that with anything.
Yeah,
have
the
to,
only
like,
time that's not going to be a problem is like in the vacuum of space.
Yeah, but also he is his own workspace, so Greg can disassemble and reassemble things within himself.
Yeah, indeed. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like
Also,
ignoring
he
food
has a
is
minor invulnerability to physical damage.
Yeah, like ignoring food could be covered by an aspect or could be a trapping of a strange skill.
Right.
So
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to be a dick about food because that's not really the point of this game. But like, if there's a scene where you're all like gathered around a fire, eating or whatever, then like Fart's probably like might be hovering over the flames, consuming its heat.
That's amazing.
I was on the fence about whether my character was a spiritual being made corporeal or just brought into this, the earthly plane. I think it would make more sense if she was a physical being. So I changed my mind about that. My character does need to eat.
I mean, yeah, but you're a demon, so I would have you could eat. You could equally eat strange things. Like maybe you're a demon, maybe you consume sin.
Could be.
I don't know. I mean, that's up to you. Whatever.
I don't have any aspects or powers that would let me do something like that. But hey.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that's something to consider.
And then
that's
obviously
right.
I need to eat fuel, because car, and then maintenance for parts.
Blacktop is a term for the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a slang term for road. Yeah, that's the name of the member of True Survivor that is working on the car. His name is Jacob Black, but he's referred to as Blacktop because before he had to abandon the other universe, he had an AI car that was called Top, but he had to leave it behind.
Sad. You doing anything else? I guess.
Yeah, is
I
there
feel like
anything else you guys
our
want to
camp
do?
just like I don't know.
Well, yeah. So you guys could describe to me what your camp looks like. You've been given you're given a small grant by Raiderade to buy some supplies, $500,000, which is enough to basically outfit a machine shop and get you a nice marquee and some screen printed uniforms if you so desire.
I figure we kind of have like, well, I assume because Raiderade would have had to transport my car.
Yeah, they got a morally flexible cargo plane pilot.
I mean, I would think that we would have to have some kind of like portable garage to house Yuri.
Yeah, I figure maybe we have like a sort of.
Well, like the True
like
Survivors,
a
for
semi-
example, the True Survivors have a car as well, and they just have a tent and like two of those large tall boy tool chest things. Tool cabinet. They just have two of those because but they don't have any base rating stuff in their car. Like all of their superpowers are them. They don't pour any of their money in winnings into making the car superpowered.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just a car.
Their car is packed with shit tons of aftermarket stuff, but has no superhero stuff.
So it's a car anyone could get, conceivably.
It's a car anyone with a lot of money could get, yeah. It's a special type of Land Cruiser that actually exists in the real world. They're not cheap.
Right, yeah.
They are very ostentatious. They are fuel guzzlers, and they can submerge up to 1 meter in the water. They have 6 wheels, and they have air compressors tethered to each wheel so that you can reinflate and adjust the air pressure at will.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's in the inspiration document. It's a Top Gear episode, basically. Yeah. It's an excerpt from Top Gear. It's like 10 minutes long, I think. The Valkyr's vehicle is also in there and is also a Top Gear segment. It's the South African APC that Richard Hammond takes to a drive-through, and like the windows don't go down on it, so they have to like push his hamburger and fries through this tiny hole.
Nice. I was thinking since Yuri is our transportation, maybe we have like a trailer that we hitch to his back bumper.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just leave that at base camp when you start the race.
Right.
So Yuri, you could possess other machines, not just the two you have.
Yes.
Those are just like your two.
Yeah.
They're my like main ones. But yes, I can like move out of one of them into another machine, but like requiring like physical contact. So I have to like touch something else to then. Like,
where does the robot sit? Does the robot sit in the driver's seat until like you need to get out of the car because it needs to have physical contact? Yeah.
I think it would be funnier if the robot sat in the passenger seats and the driver's seat just empty.
I think I generally have the robot sit, the samurai body sit in the driver's seat for the situation that like if I need to, I could then like switch back to the driver and actually drive.
Right.
Which is slightly less effective, but like if you need to like jump out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe a decent passenger. Who knows?
Who knows?
We'll mix it up.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Maybe like in the trailer we have whatever provisions we need and like a tech center with sat uplink and a computer.
There's a ruggedized military laptop, and you've got one of those like little fold-out satellite dishes.
Yeah, and it says Raiderade in big letters on the side of it.
Everything's got Raiderade all over it. Raiderade official ruggedized base rating laptop.
Did they repaint Yuri's car body and samurai body to have Raiderade logos?
They would request that he puts Raiderade branding on it.
Both my car and my samurai body are like decked out red with logos.
Raiderade stickers on it.
Yeah. I imagine in this, like while Greg was like having that conversation, essentially Yuri, I feel like I spend most of my time at camp just like samurai body is like cross-legged, meditating on the bonnet of the car, and the car is just like occasionally sort of like humming and revving itself.
Nice. Breathing.
Oh, the hood. Okay, that's what you meant.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, the bonnet is the hood of the car, the bonnet. Yeah.
Yeah.
The metal piece that covers the engine compartment.
Not on Volkswagens.
That's true. Or DeLoreans, or a bunch of cars, or a Lotus, or a Lamborghini, or a Ferrari, or like there's a lot of cars.
Or other cars, yes.
Yes. All those nice ones.
Yeah. You know, now that you said that, I'm pretty sure Datsuns actually have rear engines sometimes too. But moving on, not the one that Finn has.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I float back over. Where is Amriel?
She's probably pacing up and down in anticipation, because this is the part of the job that she hates the most, the part where there's nothing to kill.
Oh boy. Yeah, so it's sort of, the camps are arranged sort of in a semicircle. So you've got you and TKS, the Japanese Brazilians. You guys are at the top of the semicircle, like of the U shape, opposite side of one another, and then between you, you've got the or rather to the left and right. Left and right. You've got True Survivors and the Valkyries are sort of opposite one another. The True Survivors are right next to... So you guys are actually right next to the Valkyries, and the triplets are right next to the True Survivors. And then between the Valkyries and the True Survivors is sort of the official marquee where all the Raiderade and race people are setting up. And then sort of at the about 100 meters or so from the mouth of the U-shape is this sort of stage scaffold-like thing that you know is probably the starting line. And thankfully, there's not a lot of reporters and stuff that have shown up yet, and the camera crews aren't getting started. Probably at around mid-afternoon, they'll start interviews and stuff, going around to the teams and being like, oh, you know, how are you prepping for the race and blah, 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 blah.
So out of character, we know that, so when they start, when they shoot the gun to go, we have to find the base. We just know it's in this area, but we still have to
know it's in this area. Mind you, you can have it, if you want to do, like, you can do pre-research now to try and narrow it down. It's highly unlikely that you'll get the exact location in your pre-research, but it's not impossible. You'll also have tomorrow. Like, today's pretty lazy. They're going to do some pre-interviews. There'll be a thing on tonight, and then midday tomorrow will be when the race starts. It all generally is midday. So the first day of the race is actually kind of a half day.
I would very much like to do some research.
All right. So how are you going to research? So so what the players already know from their research leading up to this event, to remind them and the listeners who don't know, is that they were told that the race would be held in the Nile Delta. They then worked out that it is the base of an ancient, well, not necessarily an ancient, some kind of Egyptian sorcerer called Setmon-Thoth. Setmon-Thoth. The base is inhabited by ancient mummy warriors. It was built to harness the power of the Nile. It's unclear whether that's hydropower or like some kind of magic power. During the 40s, which is when Setmon-Thoth was most active, it was the site of a climactic battle between Thoth and their nemesis Dr. Nox, who was a psionic pulp hero from Britain. Thoth and Nox had worked together some to try and keep the Nazis from controlling Egypt, but things came to a head after the end of the war, because Thoth didn't really want Egypt to fall back under British control. And at some point in recent history, a villain called the Gardener attempted to seize control of the facility and fortified it in the process. So the base is defended by the Gardener's constructs, which it is unclear what those constructs are. The true survivors have raided Gardener's base before, though. A Gardener base before, so they might have some useful information on what the Gardener's shtick is. So that could be a place to start, but yeah, that's the information you guys have.
All right.
Okay. I would like to do some research to see if I can figure out where in the Delta, basically, if Thoth was around in the 40s and the 50s, newspapers back then loved to have their gossip columns about who was seen where doing what. So Greg is going to he's going to basically envelop the computer.
You're gonna get on the computer and access the library's,
right,
old
and then
newspaper
correlate
records.
and see if I can figure out what areas Thoth spent the most time in to try to see if we can narrow down where. So I got to roll for that one?
Yeah, let's have a roll.
All right, so that's 4 fudge dice. That is a... Wow, I rolled a plus blank, 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 but my skill is at +3, so that gives me +4.
Nice.
And would an extra +2 give us more information?
No, you did pretty well.
Okay.
So, Thoth spent a lot of time around Cairo in the 30s, especially, but also normally, like, he wasn't seen as like this god tier level sorcerer during the 30s. He was sort of like, sort of this, almost this Aleister Crowley sort of personality. Like, he was this kooky sorcerer guy that, like, would go out on various trips into the desert to look at Egyptian tombs, and, like, he'd go out with socialites and stuff, and, like, they'd get drunk and high in the tombs and do kooky rituals. But then things started... that part... not really clear. He sort of seemed like more of a celebrity until, the late 30s, early 40s, when that whole Nazism thing started to become a bit more serious.
They always ruin it.
And then he started to focus a lot on Alexandria, but also Port Said, which is the mouth of the Suez Canal.
Okay.
But Crystal. You could try Rosetta, which also seems to be somewhere he focused a lot of time. It seems that during the 40s, that was where he was spotted most. So perhaps his base is somewhere near Rosetta.
Rosetta. Okay.
Yes, which is the mouth of one of the tributaries of... It's the name of a town and a tributary of the Delta.
And a rock. So that's
Well, yes.
Rosetta's the most likely
Rosetta's
candidate.
probably a good place to start. It is located because you know you're going to be leaving from Alexandria.
Right.
It's 65 kilometers to 40 miles east of Alexandria, so it's not too far.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's like an hour's drive, really. Probably less in Finn.
So when the clock starts, everyone just goes and wherever they want.
Everyone is given a heading at random. Basically, you have to drive off the start line for 10 minutes, and then you have to head in a direction. You've got 60 seconds off the start line in a straight line, and then once that 60-second timer hits 0, you then have to drive along a bearing that is given to you at random by the starting commission for 10 minutes, and that's to make sure that the teams don't just follow one another. Like if you work out that TKS knows the best route, because they normally do, and they also happen to know where the base is, then you just follow them. So by giving them random bearings, it forces the teams to separate from one another.
Okay. And so then after that 10 minutes, you go
After that 10 minutes, you then head to your spot.
Right.
But you are allowed to mess with the other teams in that first 60 seconds. So, like, you can crash into them or whatever, you know.
Oh, okay.
Shoot them with your cannon. Try and pop their tires. They might not be too happy.
What is the rule for messing with other teams? How much are we allowed to do?
You're not allowed to kill them, and you're not allowed to knowingly put them in a situation that would lead to their death.
Okay.
But that's still pretty vague.
Before the race.
Yeah. Like the Valkyries got banned from last year because it was alleged that one of their team members basically committed manslaughter against another team. But it couldn't be proven, so they were just given a year-long ban. They're very determined to get back their champion position this year.
Okay. I have a quick question about the camera crews. What is the situation with them when we're like raiding a base?
There will be a They will try and put GoPro equivalent things on you. Obviously, that's hard for your dude that's a cloud. They will also have like little quadcopter things, like microcopters that will follow you. So they might just put one inside Greg. They might just be like, hey, can we have this thing hover inside you so that we can film you guys? Yeah, they do all the filming with drones. They'll also mount a couple of cameras to your cars and things like that.
It's all right.
So there's no camera crew following us.
Yeah,
they're not going to put physical camera crews out in the field. The team that finds the bases for you, which is the former base raiding champions and are considered the kind of patrons, Scout Team 1, they also have seeded the base with cameras. Scout Team 1 is very, very competent. They don't compete anymore. They could have cleared the base already because they're, very skilled base raiders. And they've also had way more time, so they could have just prepped like for 2 months and then gone through and cleared it in an hour. But anyone could do that if they had stupid levels of money and 2 months to prepare. So they've seeded it with cameras as well. So there's no chance of you hiding from the cameras, basically.
Gotcha.
But the teams are not allowed to watch the feed.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about the other team seeing what you're doing on the cameras.
Okay.
Unless they bug you.
Is it live or is it edited?
It is on a 30-second delay in case one of you dies.
They want to cut away from that.
Yeah.
They could sell that footage later for a lot more money.
Yeah,
Right.
indeed. They sell that for a premium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on a 30-second delay just in case, and they do highlights. Yeah, the people that are watching are either watching online or they will be at sort of a party camp type thing. They've actually the official party camp is in Port Said this year. Raiderade set that up so that you wouldn't have all the fans in the same city as you,
Okay.
because that would be really annoying. So they will have like satellite event things going on, like little entertainment events. So there'll be like, you know, people doing tricks on the dunes, extreme sports type stuff to entertain people during the day. Because obviously there's a lot of dead air in a Raiderade race. It's only the most hardcore fans that'll watch. So basically there's like a whole suburb of Port Said that's going to be a massive street party for a week. With extreme sport events, like there'll be like parkour races and like people rollerblading down the sides of buildings. There'll be lots of stupid Red Bull type stunts going on.
Sure, the locals appreciate that.
Well, the locals get to charge exuberant prices because only rich people can afford to attend the physical event for a Raiderade competition.
The fact that they set up the party tent basically in Port Said, is that like an indication to us that the base is not there? Or could it still be in Port
Not necessarily. It just indicates that they wanted to... Port Said and Alexandria are kind of both on the edges of what the Nile Delta is in the modern era. Because the Nile Delta is sort of this fan shape when it gets to the Mediterranean coast. And Alexandria is at the westernmost point, and Port Said's at the easternmost point. So it's basically they've put the partiers on the opposite side, but it also means that they've got a hub at the other side.
Okay. So it could still conceivably, the base could still conceivably be in.
Yeah, indeed. The base could be in Alexandria. Like, they have done that before. They did one in Beijing, and everyone like was racing out to the edges of the Beijing and beyond the edges of Beijing, and then it turned out that it was actually underneath the Summer Palace, which is pretty much right in the middle of Beijing.
Okay, so because you did say that he would sometimes hang out in Cairo, Alexandria, and Port Said.
Indeed, but
Rosetta is the most.
During the 40s, he seemed to spend a shit ton of... He seemed to turn up in Rosetta a lot.
Okay. I will share that with my team.
Cool.
So you think Rosetta's the spot, huh?
It seems like it could at least be a good place to start, and it's not far away.
Well, assuming we don't get a horribly inconvenient bearing, I can take wing and do some scouting from the air once we get our bearings.
Yes. So you have someone who can fly on your team. It's worth pointing out the rules they put restrictions on people that can fly and teleport. You're basically just not allowed to carry your team members.
Okay.
It's especially important for teams that have teleporters on them, because people that can teleport will just teleport straight to the base, and if they took their whole team,
right, that would be...
then that's super unfair, and they just automatically win, and it would make the race pointless. So yeah, you're just not allowed to... You're allowed to, like, rescue a team member. So, like, if one of them fell off a cliff...
I could fly down and pick them
grab
up.
them, but you're not allowed to use your flight as transportation for your team.
Okay.
All right.
I was thinking more recon, so, like...
Indeed. I just thought I better point it out now. So I never have to mention it again in the campaign.
Yeah, sure. Never.
I might then spend a bit of time mapping out the quickest path to get to Rosetta by car. And anything that we should avoid, and knowing the capabilities of our car, avoiding overly deep / wide rivers or anything if we're going cross country and stuff.
Indeed, because you're allowed to use the roads. No one's gonna.
Yeah,
It's not illegal. I mean, you might get stuck in traffic or something.
I have telescopic legs. I'll totally just like walk over it. over traffic bus style.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's pretty much a pretty straightforward path from Alexandria to Rosetta. Yeah.
More or less. I'm trying to Google search it and Google Maps it now. Alexandria,
Yeah, I was just having a look.
Egypt.
It's
Google's
like
having
just straight along
Google's
the
having
coast.
trouble.
Yeah. There's a road called 40 that runs right there.
Directions from Rosetta. Rosetta. Come on, why do you hate me?
It's like a 55-minute straight drive.
Oh, Rosetta must be called Rashid in Egyptian.
It is, yes.
Because it
and
says
there's, like-
that's the right distance. It's really close. I didn't realize how close it was. Like, I didn't really think about how close 60 kilometers is. It's apparently a
And there's, like, a
52-minute
big bridge.
drive, which suggests to me that traffic is not great on that road.
Hmm.
Why is it yellow? Is it when it's yellow? Does that mean there's like congestion in an area?
I
I'm
think
not sure.
it depends. I think it depends on whether or not you have traffic enabled.
Yeah, I do.
Then yes.
I think that's what it means. Details. That's what I want. Follow International Coastal Road, Route 40M. Yeah, that's a pretty straightforward drive.
Hmm. It just goes over like a big
Really?
bridge.
Yeah, there's like a lake thing.
Hmm.
Lake Idku. Idku? Whatever, something like that. It's so fucking green. I expected these areas to be surrounded by more houses. I'm very glad that it appears to be mostly farmland, because it means that my assumptions about the world are not wrong. I was really worried, because like Cairo, for example, is just fucking surrounded by buildings. So I'm glad that I didn't fuck up slightly. Airport Farm Lake. What the fuck does that even mean? Anyway, so yeah, it's not too hard to find a route. Like, so there's the path if you're going by road. Let's see, you're on the outskirts of Alexandria. So where on the outskirts of Alexandria? We'll actually say that you're near Airport Farm Lake.
Okay. Yep.
If you're looking at it on Google Maps. So
All right.
probably just the south side of International Coastal Road near Airport Farm Lake. So you're sort of surrounded by farm. You're in some farmer's field. You've just paid him like $500,000 to be like, yeah, we need this for like a week. We're going to completely ruin the crops probably, and there will probably be like radioactive material on the ground when we leave. It's like, how much you paying me? $500,000. Yeah, you could have permanently. Nah, keep it. We don't need it. We don't need some. We don't need 4 plots of land in Alexandria. Cool.
Cool.
So, is there anything else you do that day? Do you want to talk to any of the other teams? Looks like the true survivors are gearing up for a party. Like, beyond what they were already doing. Like, you see, like, one of them leaves, what's his name? Jason Black leaves in his, Jacob Black probably, because there's already a Jason on their team. Jacob Black leaves in, no, wait, that's a fucking Twilight character. Billy Black. Yeah, Billy Black. Let's go for alliteration. Billy Black leaves to like go to a liquor store, basically. Didn't occur to me to check if Egypt is a dry country. If it is, I don't think the true survivors care. I'll find it. Yeah, so he comes back with a couple of cases of beer later. And they seem to be getting on. You see TKS As the sun starts to set, TKS sort of wander into the True Survivors camp. You know, there's like beach chairs and stuff around. The True Survivors seem to be playing this song that kind of sounds a bit like if the American national anthem was mixed with a Bon Jovi track. Because they're from 80s action movie Earth, and that's what the national anthem of the Republic of America sounds like. The Republic of North America, sorry. Not to be confused with the Republic of South America, which is actually in Africa. True Survivor Planet's weird.
Yeah.
The Valkyries just seem to be, you know, almost militaristic. They seem to be having very Spartan meals in preparation. You see some of them sharpening swords and axes, while another one is like loading a rifle, and one seems to be plugging in a bunch of laser gun batteries into a charging station. You know, they know what they're about, and they're about winning.
Hey, whatever floats their boat.
Yeah.
Apparently it's weaponry. Lots of it.
The recorders. Sorry, you go.
I was gonna say, I figure I'll wander to the True Survivors party.
Yeah.
In so much as I could enjoy it. I still have very conflicting feelings about being human / a robot.
Well, so as you wander over, Yuri, Julio Thrasher walks up to you. Julio Thrasher is a Hispanic gentleman with half of his face replaced with cybernetics, and he's got a massive robot arm. He just like sort of grabs you in that sort of. Who's seen Predator?
No.
One.
The first one.
Yes.
Yes.
Does the bit where Arnold Schwarzenegger and the CIA agent like grab each other by the fist and squeeze and their biceps bulge? Guys, you go do that to Yuri.
Okay.
Like, Yuri, you cyborg son of a bitch.
They're Robros.
Oh man, I loved you. I loved you. What's his name? Did you say Julio or Thrasher? Either one.
Right, Thrasher, Julio. Okay, yeah.
He's like, I loved your work in. I loved that Japanese work you did, man. That was fantastic. That volcano. How'd you guys make it erupt? That was insane. Flashback to your teammate falling.
Oh god, it's erupting!
No! And yeah, he like falls in with like, I don't know, whether he had like some kind of like Frisian superpower. So he like hits the lava and then like explodes.
I'm picturing he hits the lava and Greg reaches out for him and his hand just passes through the cloud and effectively as he sinks.
Yeah. Essentially say, let's say we had a bit of a meltdown.
Well, you know, I'd offer you a beer, but you look incapable.
I am.
Well, so, have you ever juiced?
No. Juiced?
Alright. Let me show you. He turns around.
He like puts his arm around my shoulders and like leads me over.
Hey, Takuma! Takuma sort of looks over and like pulls his ear forward and then says something in Portuguese. Yeah, they speak Portuguese in Brazil.
What does he say? I speak it.
He's like, what is it? What can I be doing for you? Because the Seraphim triplets, while Brazilian and Japanese, don't speak great Brazilian. Don't speak great Portuguese. Sorry. Like, can I? And he sort of like makes these sort of like pincer motions with his hands. Julio makes these pincer motions with his hands and then points to TKS's car, and Takuma's like, yeah, okay, fine. He walks over and he puts jumper cables onto the fusion power plant, and then he puts them right onto his nipples.
One of like,
yeah! One cyber nipple and one regular nipple.
One regular nipple, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He runs 1.21 gigawatts right across his heart. He grabs it, he's like, whoo! Oh, you want a juice? Huh?
Yeah.
Alright.
And I like crack open my like front armor plate, I guess.
And he clips it right onto your chassis. It's about what you'd expect. You see, you feel multiple redundant systems failing temporarily, users blowing, and you feel what amounts for processes being blown out. And then he removes it. He's like, yeah, it's a real
What?
It's a real karmic mind kick, right?
Yeah.
Right to the swift kick to the head.
Yeah, and I like come back and I'm just like minor like servo twitches, a few lights just like blinking errors from like behind my like samurai mask.
Hey Alex, this guy just juiced! Oh man, he's a champ. He's gonna fit right in. Get me a beer, man. Alex Remington throws Julio a beer. And he slams it down. Dick Dynamo is sitting in the background. He seems to be mixing a cocktail of like Raiderade and tequila.
This one would like to partake of a beer.
I feel like everyone like stops briefly and like looks at the cloud.
Everyone looks like, yeah, man. Alex Remington, the war veteran cop, picks up a beer and hands it to you.
Holds it out for
just
me,
toss
like,
it.
disembodiedly.
Okay, he tosses it into the cloud.
So it travels halfway through the cloud. As it hits the cloud, it starts to slow down until it's just floating in the middle of the cloud, and then slowly just like dissolves, like an Alka-Seltzer tablet. Like it just.
Yeah, nice. One of the true survivors is standing near a bunch of like printed out maps, smoking a cigar that seems to have almost a purple smoke coming off of it. And he's just, he's like drawing things on the map and crossing stuff out and writing notes and stuff down. He's probably the oldest member of the true survivors. It's got a sort of a Clint Eastwood look to him.
Mm-hmm.
Except not as racist. Not as sexist.
That's good.
And he's sitting there smoking. It just occurred to me, Alex Remington, the war veteran, is actually a woman. I forgot. I should make a note of that. Maybe I should write Alexandra Remington so that I remember. Anyway, Alex Remington's the token female of the true survivors. I didn't expect like the majority of the women to be the Valkyries. Like, because, I didn't know. I mean, I guess you've got Amriel. Amriel's kind of a woman, right?
Sort of. Yes.
Sort of. Woman adjacent.
Woman adjacent.
Greg's, a cloud.
Yes. Gender is still a concept that he is trying to... everyone calls him he because his name is Greg, and apparently that is a gendered name but it is still a
Doesn't-
concept that he's trying to wrap
The
his cloud
Predator
around.
Storms don't really have genders, so
No,
neither do you. It doesn't really follow. So, you know, they're partying. Emriel, what are you doing?
I was thinking about taking a closer look at the Valkyrs camp because you said
Alright.
that they choose their team members. They don't send all 10 of them. They choose their team members based on skills. I kind of want to linger around the periphery. You know, not exactly. I'm not gonna sneak around, but
You're just gonna sort of, you know, they are next to your camp. So,
yeah.
know.
I'm pacing back and forth. I'm gonna keep an eye on them and see like who seems to be prepping and does
Do
it
you
look
have?
like.
Well, so it looks like all 10 of them have some kind of job. Oda, however, looks like they're not doing as much as everyone else. They seem to be sitting or they seem to be looking at like they've got a tablet and they're looking at something on it while two of the doctors they brought with them are like injecting things into Oda and like checking Oda's vitals. Oda is the leader, best you can tell.
Okay.
Do you have any super senses at all?
I do not.
That's all right. I just thought I'd ask because you might get different information. You see Bertha and Hildy talking. Bertha seems to be checking a bunch of like camera and comms gear. And Hilda is sort of standing nearby, and you sort of overhear Hilda like, if we just put a little more money into our equipment, we could have, you know, quantum entangled base radar comms, and then we wouldn't have to worry about setting up repeater stations when we go into bases. We're still using fucking radio waves. Even the true survivors don't use radio waves. And Bertha just says, we don't need high-tech gear. It can't pass beyond the veil anyway. We're better off pouring all of our winnings into biotech. Oda has told you this time and time again. And then they notice that you're standing nearby. And Bertha just sort of smacks Hildy in the chest, like sort of a light tap with the fingers, as if to say, shut up.
Amriel waves and says, gives them a very toothy and disconcerting demonic grin and says, "Oh, don't mind me. I'm just letting off a little steam before the race."
Cool. You do that. And then they go back to fussing with comms gear. Hildy seems annoyed.
Do I want to push this? Not really so much, but
Well, you know, you've got like 5 more races to find out more about what the fuck they're talking about.
All
right. Well, so the True Survivors party continues on long into the night. TKS peel off at about midnight and go find their racks. They seem to have hammocks strung up. The True Survivors have like sleeping bags that they've just unrolled across the sand, or like in the back of the Land Cruiser, or like on top of the Land Cruiser. Vic Graves has gone to sleep, as has Billy Blacktop. But Jason Judo, Dick Dynamo, Alex Remington, and Julio Thrasher are still partying hard.
Have these two come back yet?
I don't know. That's up to them.
I'm going to be sticking with the party.
I'm going to go over to the old guy who's looking at the maps and kind of.
Yeah, we'll say you did that earlier on in the night because I did kind of say he went to bed, but that's fine. You can do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't remember all these names. Yeah, so before he goes to bed, I'm going to hover over to him.
Vic Graves turns around and is like, has anyone ever told you smell just like a fart?
Yes, many people have.
It's not pleasing.
I apologize. It is the way that my molecules energize the air apparently causes a malodor for humans.
Right. You should look into doing something about that.
Oh,
Gives away your position.
This one had not considered that. Thank you for the advice.
Hey, don't worry about it.
Are you researching where the base might be?
I like your use of conjunctions. Pretty much. You know, we got an idea. Think it might be, hang on a minute. Where's my zoom out button? Think that the base might be near, Damanhor? Damanhauer? I don't know how to pronounce these damn names.
Very interesting.
But we're not quite sure. I mean, it's meant to be involved in manipulating the Nile, so it should be on the river, but by the same token, some of the rivers have been closed off in recent years, so maybe it did used to run that way. Not quite sure.
Interesting. All that I was able to parse out was that it was definitely not Cairo.
Yeah, nah, Cairo. They would have found that ages ago. Cairo's been picked clean. Especially that goddamn pyramid bullshit.
It is a very interesting structure. It seems to be a monument to the human predilection for building walls.
Right. I don't know. You know, I'm a bit sore about walls. What with what happened back home and all. I say walls, I meant pyramids.
What happened at your home?
Goddamn undead cyborg Native Americans took the capital. I mean, sure, it was their country and all, but I lived there, you know? I like living there.
Have they brought it back yet?
Brought what back?
The capital that they took.
Oh, all right. They captured it and occupied it. They made it theirs once more. Yeah, that's why we left the homeworld. You know, had to find a new Earth. This one seemed all right. You know, glad we showed up after Ragnarok. Shit could have been bad if we showed up before.
Yes, I am in a very similar situation. My race was enslaved while I was on my way here. Luckily, I arrived after Ragnarok as well.
Yeah. As you mentioned, enslaved, he sort of looks off into the middle distance. Yeah.
Well, good luck to you tomorrow. I will see you not in Cairo. And can I like, I don't have any deception, but can I make a roll to try to make him think that maybe there's something in Cairo?
How are you going? You don't have any deception, so I'm gonna say you don't make a roll, but you definitely try to make him think there's something in Cairo.
I would wink if I had eyes, basically. Like, it's not Cairo, wink, wink.
Yeah, see, you're not in Cairo.
As convincing as that sounded.
Yeah.
But you can still try it. It's just you're rolling at +0.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You can roll. I mean, you might get 4 pluses. That's a good point.
I got 3 pluses.
All right. He's like,
Even if it just like delays.
He puzzles over the map for a little while. Well, it's definitely going to mean that he spends a lot more time double-checking all of his Cairo information.
Which means he'll be tired tomorrow. Perfect.
Huh. 10th of Ramadan City. What a name for a city. 6th of October City. What the fuck? Egypt?
Eventually, Alexander the Great must have just got bored naming cities after himself. What day is it? 6th of October, sir. Done. That's this one.
Surely that's a modern era city. October Cemetery. What the hell? Egyptian media production city.
I wonder what they do there.
And Dreamland.
You found the Dreamlands?
Yeah, Dreamlands is a golf resort. There's Dream Park, Dreamland, Dream Life, and Dreamland Golf Resort.
That sounds like a Call of Cthulhu scenario right there.
That would actually be kind of cool. File that away for later. So how long do you guys party into the night, and do you do anything else of note? True Survivor Camp. Do you get juiced again?
A bunch. As much as possible.
You guys juice hard. When TKS goes to bed, though, they are like, look, don't do it while we're not awake in case you overload the fusion engine. And Julio's like, yeah, sure, we won't do it. Then grins. He doesn't, but it makes TKS weary of going to sleep.
If they stay out too late, I'm gonna come looking for them.
Well, it's after midnight now.
Yeah. Amriel comes rolling up. She's walking right toward you, Yuri. And
what does Amriel look like?
I'm glad you asked that. One of my aspects is ugly as sin, because she was the fall from heaven was not very kind to her. So she has a very burned and torn and bloody and broken visage. Maybe there's some bone involved. She's a demon, so probably some horns are in there, but it's just a mess. She usually, I'm gonna say she wears, like, I don't want to say she wears a hoodie, but she's got like a cloak that she keeps with the hood up to sort of cover her face, because she's a little self-conscious about how horrifically ugly she is.
Okay, good. I'm probably lying at this point. I'm probably lying like flat on the ground, staring at the sky, smoking and sparking slightly. Just like, nah.
Looking up at the stars.
Talking with Thrasher, being like, oh man, are we robots or are we men?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What if we're both?
Oh, whoa, dude. Julio starts talking in Portuguese.
You get like, it's not a hard kick, but it's definitely more than just tap. And,
a loud clang. Mm-hmm.
And Amriel like growls, "What in the hell do you think you're doing?"
Hey man, we're just getting in touch with the inner current, you know? Do you feel me, Amriel? And he reaches out with, like, he's touching his chest in a weird way. He's like, you know, do you feel it? Do you feel, Amriel? Do you feel it? Man?
I try not to. You know, it's been several decades since I've been to the pit, but I'm fairly certain they're doing something very similar to what you two have just been doing all night to the souls of the damned for all eternity.
Oh man, you're really harshing my buzz. You're really bringing the whole mood down.
Yeah. You're the pits, Amriel.
Look, the race that she's ignoring the True Survivor guy. Is it True Survivor or is he from TKS?
The TKS have gone to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Julio Thrasher, the Cyber Commando.
Okay. So she's ignoring Julio Thrasher and just looking at you, and she says, we need to be in prime shape tomorrow. This is our one shot.
All right.
I'm cool.
Greg, and I like call out. I assume Greg, you floating nearby.
Yes.
Where's the effluvium?
Hello.
Alex Remington, the female member of the True Survivors, and also a war veteran, is throwing knives at one of the tent posts of the True Survivors marquee. She keeps managing to hit the wooden post, but she's actually trying to get the knife to embed in the handle of one of the other knives. Just keeps fucking it up. It's like, no, wait, Greg, I can get it. I've got this. All right, I got it.
I
got
believe in you.
She goes again, and just every single time it just embeds in the post. Maybe if I aim for the post. But you hear your heel. Sorry, Yuri call out to you.
And Greg, you think maybe turns around or just kind of shifts the mass of his cloud and starts floating towards you?
Yeah, just turns your attention.
Yeah. Is there a way?
Airlift required.
Sorry, go ahead, Yuri.
Mm-hmm.
Finn.
No, I'm like, airlift required, Greg, and I just kind of like lie there limply.
I don't think.
I'm like, Tresha, I'm gonna call it a night.
But I can repair you enough so that you could stand up.
Do it. Fix me up, Doc.
So Greg,
I need a medivac, Greg.
Greg,
I can't feel my legs.
I said Greg looks like a cloud. He's kind of got like a purplish color generally. He can change it if he wants to, but purple seems to be his standard. And every once in a while, there's a little flash of electricity inside of him, so he kind of looks like a rolling storm cloud.
I can see why your parent hive collective named you Greg.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the whole hive looks like that. I'm just part of it.
I can see why you take your names from the Predator Storms.
Yes, so he looks kind of like a storm cloud, but he smells like a fart if you're inside of him. And if you're a human, it's kind of like that feeling you get with like a static electricity balloon, like rubbing over you. So it's like it's a little tingly inside, but Yuri does not have feelings, so he doesn't have to worry about that. So
hey, Yuri has feelings, he just doesn't have sensation.
Okay, fine. Yuri doesn't have sensation. So Greg just envelops him, and the little flashes of lightning pick up, and he fixes Yuri up enough so that he could stand and walk. Basically,
and I say to Thresher, I'm like, oh, if juice is like getting high, this is like getting a sweet massage.
I think I might give Yuri a minor
complication.
I was going to give you a minor complication that you're hungover for tomorrow. Mechanically hungover.
Because you've been juicing so much.
Surged.
Surge unprotected.
Unprotected surge.
Yep, unprotected surge. There we go.
All night.
All night long. All night. Is it green? Super green.
Alright.
So do you guys go rest?
Yes.
Yeah, I stumble back.
You stumble back and sort of flop onto your car.
Collapse onto
as
the
your
car.
consciousness passes through both bodies as you try to sleep. How does Greg sleep? Do you
does.
Oh, really?
I think he just kind of goes into the corner and settles down, like condenses himself a bit, and
maybe you sort of lay across the ground like a
fog
bank.
Yeah, that's so we have like our room. He just slowly spreads out across the ground, It becomes this light purple haze.
Amriel?
I think Amriel has like a loft bed in the trailer, except instead of having a mattress on it, it's just like bare wire springs.
Of course, because you're a demon.
Yeah, she needs to be uncomfortable to sleep.
Of
Reminds-
course, you're a
Reminds
demon.
her of home.
Yeah. You're just like Red from Shawshank.
Hmm.
She's
You don't have
had
to keep
Greg.
asking me. You don't have to keep asking me to pee. Just go.
She's had Greg modify it so it has little spikes sticking up from the springs to just poke into her even
Should
more.
just get a nail bed from like. You guys ever do a base race in India? Find one of those street performers and just be like, "I'll buy your nail bed." All right. So, do you have any kind of alarm to wake you up in the morning, or do you guys just
I have
wake
a
up when
car
you
alarm.
wake up? Car alarm. The car alarm just starts going off.
What the fuck is that?
You hear Alex Remington from across the camp go, "God damn it! What is that noise? Trying to sleep here."
And then it just shuts off with a little like beep beep.
It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh shit! It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
And I just get up. One of the doors of the Datsun swings open, and I just fall out the door onto the floor 2 meters down.
Greg condenses himself from across the floor.
Yeah, it is. It's probably about 10 a.m. You know, you've got 2 hours to do final checks. You see TKS doing an interview with one of the camera crews, while it looks like Vic Graves, the veteran maverick, the grizzled maverick cop from True Survivors, has just wrapped up an interview. And then you see a couple of the other True Survivors asking him questions you're not quite sure what they're talking about, but they seem confused about something that Vic said during his interview. And then you see, it looks like the Valkyries probably did all their interviews this morning while everyone else was still sleeping in.
Yep.
And then you see a camera crew walking over towards you guys.
Nothing to do with the camera crew, but say that one of the accoutrements, one of the pieces of equipment that we have is a messenger tube that Greg can go into. So, if we're going underwater or going through an area where a cloud couldn't go, he just condenses himself into the tube.
Like the kind of thing you transport a Declaration of Independence in when you're trying to protect it from Sean Bean.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Except it has a little electric switch so that Greg can zap it and get in and out.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's the same thing.
It's fine.
Okay.
But yeah,
set that up now.
That's a good bit of. You don't want to try and convince me that you have that.
Yeah.
In the middle of a scene. No, fuck you. This camera crew seems to be walking over you.
I get up and dust myself off slightly.
There's a
As
female.
I am the only face of the team.
That's true.
I have
there's
empathy. I took
a
empathy.
female. There's a female interviewer, a female cameraman, and the sound guy is a dude.
A female cameraman?
Yeah, female camera person.
Camera woman?
Operator.
Camera operator.
There we go.
They walk over to you and do
I
you
lean
guys have?
nonchalantly against the wheel.
almost fall off of it. Do you guys have time for an interview before things kick off? We didn't get time to come around to you last night. Didn't want to interrupt your partying.
Sure. Yeah, we got time.
Of
Look
course.
over at Greg. Greg gives
Greg,
some kind of
big
silent
Greg
indication.
nods. Maybe.
You always have time for our adoring public.
Fantastic.
Actually, I imagine any interaction of like us, where we're like, what about you, Greg? And we just look at Greg, and it just like cuts to Cloud, and then it comes back. We're like, yeah, cool.
Cool.
Good.
So we'll just start the ball rolling. You guys, you're new to the pro circuit. You got in on the rookie card, rookie wild card for this year. How does it feel to be, coming into this professional environment, playing off against the other teams?
Natural, I think. I would say, if I would speak for the rest of us, it doesn't seem unusual at all. Where each of us specialized for this kind of thing, and I think we have nothing to worry about. We got in off the rookie circuit because we did our best, and we did the best in the thing. We qualified here, and well, we can hold our own.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Although I cannot hold anything.
Of course. The interviewer laughs.
This one. Greg refers to himself as this one. This one cannot hold anything.
So you guys are probably the most eclectic team this series. Do you find that puts you at a disadvantage to the other teams? Do you feel like, perhaps your lack of
physicality,
your lack of uniformity creates unique challenges, or? And then she sort of waits for you to respond.
Off. I think it makes us uniquely specialized to take on the diverse challenges that base raiding has to offer.
If we all went in with the same sets of skills and abilities, we would all be superfluous.
Well put, Greg. Emriel, how do you feel about this sport as a ancient demon? I feel like you would have a unique perspective on both the human condition and this sport itself.
When she says the human condition, Amriel snorts. And
you mean the shaved ape condition? There's a
She looks right at the interviewer and says, "Have you ever been in a high-speed aerial battle with an archangel wielding a flaming sword?"
Can't say I have, Emriel, but I bet you've got a great story about that.
Well, it's not so much of a great story as because it ends with me stabbed through the gut and falling for 9 days. But that's just about the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me.
Well, how could base rating even compare?
Well, it has certainly managed to keep us in earthly comforts. And she motions to the splendorous trailer behind her, and then she gives like a sarcastic shrug.
Fantastic. Well, it was wonderful talking to you, and good luck in the race. And then she sort of turns to the camera. This interview brought to you by Vulcan Tires. Burn rubber. All right, cut it. Thanks for the interview, guys. You did all right. You've got some weird chemistry. I do actually genuinely hope you guys do well in the race.
Thank you.
And then she walks off. So is there anything else you guys want to do before the race starts? I just saw the time, and I'm like, oh yeah, probably should get to the race part of the game.
We should just check and make sure no one fucked with our car during the night.
Yeah.
Does anyone
I
want to
think
make a
I
roll?
know that intuitively, wouldn't I?
I think you would, actually, if you just phase into the car.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
feel any different to normal.
Okay. I just
Yeah,
figured
yeah.
it'd be worth a check to make sure like no one cut our brake line or anything like that.
It's not much to gain from cutting your brake line. Most people don't use their brakes in this kind of
Or-
race.
We don't need brakes.
Something.
They're the one who slow us down.
Everyone just sort of skids to a stop.
We'll hit things until we stop.
Yeah, power slide.
Only
Okay,
we
so
can brakes.
the race is about to start. Do I have a scatter die handy? Is there a random direction button? Oh no, I've got a spoon I can spin. That'll work. Okay, so you guys are up on the race line. You've got some, power packs and stuff with you. How you are situated between the colossal APC that is the Valkyries. They seem to be on their outer edge. And the TKS race team. So you and TKS are in the middle as you're sitting on the line. There's cameras all around. They've strapped various cameras to you and your vehicle. Who's in the passenger seat?
Not me.
I guess that's Amriel then.
Yeah, Amriel will ride shotgun.
Cool. You're a little... Then there's just a cloud in the back seat.
Yeah, it just looks like we're just smoking a lot.
Yeah. Dazed and confused.
Hotbox.
Amriel's looking a little uncomfortable because she's got her wings like tucked up behind her and she's kind of leaning forward.
And it's quite a small car inside.
You see the presenter for the race, or rather the race line starter dude getting ready to amp up on the crowd and everything. Where is the fucking page I'm looking for? There it is. Yeah. All right, Raiderheads, it's time to kick things off. We're here in beautiful, sunny Alexandria in the Nile Delta. We're gonna be kicking things off quite soon. We've got right here on the race line. We've got the Valkyries lined up. Then we've got the Ethereals. Next to them, we got TKS Super Race Team, and then we got the True Survivors. Things are gonna be kicking off in just a few moments. They're going to be racing to find Setmon-Thoth's secret sorcery base. We've got official permission from the Egyptian government to be performing this race under the Sovereign Base Rating Act of 2015. Here's hoping everything goes smoothly and we don't lose any races. Are you ready to race races? Do you say anything?
Thumbs up.
You say thumbs up.
Yes.
Amriel,
rev their engines.
Yeah, I feel like most of us just like rev enthusiastically.
yeah. Amriel's got the passenger window rolled down. She's leaning out with her elbow hanging out, and she like slaps the passenger door and lets out a terrifying demonic war cry.
It's like a war pig being stuck while Zeus weeps in the background. Fantastic. Like, all right, on your marks, get set. Let's start that sprint. And then you see these red lights blindingly flash green, and everyone just zooms forward. You've got 60 seconds to just charge forward.
Yeah.
Do you want to do anything to the other races? Are you going to try and show off how fast you are by trying to pull ahead?
Would you say that we're one zone away?
Sure.
Then I would like to shoot one of their cars with my electric zap beam and
Are
overload them.
you gonna shoot TKS or the Valkyries?
TKS has a fusion reactor, so it probably wouldn't affect them as much.
Well,
So-
they are an electric vehicle. They don't make a lot of noise.
Oh, then yes, TKS. I'm going to, because one of my skills, it has charges, but I can shoot, and I figured it's like electricity basically. So
All right.
I am going
Let's
to
call this an opposed roll. Where's
right,
my dice
so-
roller?
It's also at exceptional. E is exceptional, or
Yeah.
extraordinary. Aha,
extraordinary. All right. Yeah. I need to put up the tier guide next to me at some point.
Need that Base Raiders GM screen.
I know, right?
Give Ross Payton your money.
Yeah.
Let me.
What money?
I got. Oh, that's not good. +1.
Well, you beat them
Oh, okay.
because they got. They rolled a negative. So.
Ooh.
Oof.
You zap their car, and they lose power, and you see Ayumi the pilot shoot you a fucking death glare. And then you see the engineer, like, sort of, a hatch opens on the top of the car, and he, like, jumps out the top, and you see him, like, clip a carabiner onto a hook, and he's, like, hanging off the back of the car as the car's sort of rolling to a stop, and he's, like, fiddling with the fusion engine, and then you hear this, like, loud sort of, thunder crack noise, and you see a bunch of electricity arc off the side, and then you see them surge forward and catch back up to you. They're not impressed.
Damn. Well, I tried.
You did quite well. You pissed them off. They were about to basically pull away from the pack. Their whole shtick is get there first.
I guess now I'm
Valkyrie-
gonna like gun it then.
Yeah, do it.
No, I'm gonna try and pull ahead, I guess. So I'm currently possessing the Datsun 10,000.
Yep, that's a 10,000. Sounds like a Ben 10 character. Datsun 10,000.
Yeah. So do I roll all? Yeah, I roll for the 4 fudge dice.
Yeah, you roll 4 fudge dice. And then you add your bonus.
Cool. Then the car has move +2.
All right.
So that gives us 3.
Nice. All right, so you surge forward. The Valkyries are starting to lag behind. The true survivors are pulling ahead. You see, Dick Dynamo, the happy-go-lucky vice cop, riding a dirt bike, and Jason Judo, the martial arts cop, also riding a dirt bike, and they're pulling ahead from the Land Cruiser. Their 6-wheeled monster Land Cruiser. TKS are still trying to work out some kinks in their system, and the Valkyries are actually starting to lag behind. You've got 10 seconds until you get your bearing. You see a little holographic screen pop up off the timer that they installed.
Yep.
And you see, as it ticks down, there's this spinning roulette wheel in the middle. And who wants to give me a countdown?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And you see an arrow pop up pointing southeast, which is basically to the right of the direction you're already heading in.
Yep.
Because you're driving south, basically, out of. You're basically driving east out of Alexandria. So it's pointing southwest. So that's to southeast. Sorry. So that's basically to the right of where you are. You see the Valkyries basically pull a hard U-turn. Apparently, they got east.
Oh.
They have to head in the complete opposite direction.
Ouch.
Sucks to be them.
You see the true survivors start heading towards the freeway. They pretty much got the exact right direction they needed, and TKS keeps driving straight forward. So, you guys have a satellite uplink. You can do more research checks now that you're on the road.
Okay.
Okay. Can I try to, I guess, analyze satellite imagery to see if I could figure out where in Rosetta a base could be?
Sure. If you want, you can go to Google Maps and have a squiz.
Yeah.
And you can just
Why not?
just pick an area. So you want to look for Rashid because Rashid appears to be Rosetta.
Okay.
You
you
can
want me
also
to
find
actually
it.
go pick an area?
Well, yeah, you can do that as well, but like pick somewhere to start. You've got Rashid. Are you just gonna look at an area near Rashid, or like you're gonna look at an area around Rosetta, or what? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to. So he was in Rosetta a lot.
He was in Rosetta a
So
lot.
I'm going to, before I look at the city, I'm going to look at the countryside. If it could affect the Nile, Rosetta's on one of the tributaries. So I'm going to examine the countryside to the east of Rosetta first.
Right, so
assume that he
farmland
wouldn't
looking area.
Yeah. Assume he wouldn't put it in the middle of the city.
Indeed. It's probably not
So,
his
yeah,
jam.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
I'm
if
gonna
it's
look
meant
there.
to control the Nile, this area near the International Coast Road Bridge, near Borg Magaza Ibiana. I apologize to our Egyptian listeners. That
I'm
looks like an alright area. That sort of.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. You mean right by Isbat al-Yusra?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
That'd be an alright area to focus on. That's right. That's a good spot to hide a base. I mean,
I'm gonna
wonder why no one had found it, but
I'm going to start there, but I'm also going to go through archival satellite imagery and aerial photographs to see the change of the topography and anything that might indicate a base.
All right. Finn, while this is happening, is Yuri just gonna follow the road as you're taking this southeast bearing, or are you gonna cut across some farmland?
I feel like cutting across some farmland.
All right, so
Why
you
not?
drive in a nice straight line. You are heading.
Yeah, we just go straight.
Yeah, you're heading in the direction of. Wow, there's no towns listed. Here we go. You're heading in the direction of Al Qawim Al Azmar. That's fun to pronounce. Or Isbat at Tawila. Tawila? I don't know. I'm bad at pronouncing Arabic names.
So do we start in the city of Alexandria or out in the farmland?
You
Oh, no,
started
said
just south of
farmland. You said that
Airport
already.
Farm Lake and
Right.
just on the southern side of the International Coastal Road.
Right, okay.
So yeah, you're heading south. You've
Yeah.
got to head south
And there's like
for
there's a highway that essentially like runs southeast from there.
yeah, you've got to head southeast for a few kilometers. Did I say how many kilometers at the beginning?
Didn't you say like 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes drive. That's reasonable. So do you want to make me some kind of research roll, Alex?
Yes,
Or did you
I
already?
did. It's got +1.
+1?
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm going to use my signature aspect, smartest cloud in the room,
Mm-hmm.
to give me a +2. So it'll put me a +3.
Well,
So it doesn't cost me a state point because it's a signature.
that bend would be a nice place for it, but it's not going to be that because someone would have noticed by now.
Right.
It's just too near. But maybe it could be south of there. Pretty much, if you follow the Nile down to, what is this town called? Doesn't have a name. Sweet, love it. That's what I'm all about.
Ashama. That next bend.
Isbat al-Barada, and then south of that is Isbat al-Baraja, and then there's like a town. Oh, it does have a name. Isbat Jazarat al-Faras. You think it could be there. Maybe you should go there.
All right. I can't find that on the map, but Isbat al-Baraja. That one?
Yeah, and then south of that, there's a town that's sort of right on the edge of the Nile,
yes.
and on another bend.
There we go.
Yes.
That one. Do that one.
Yeah, that looks like a real good spot. It's a small town. They probably haven't dug very deep. It could be right next to that, and it could have gone unnoticed.
I relay that to my car/driver.
Yep. So basically, you could head towards Rosetta, and then instead of taking the international road into the Alex Rashid road into town, you take another road, the Rashid Motobus south, and then you'll need to cross the Nile where there's no bridge.
Yeah.
But I have faith in you. Or you could take the long way where there is a bridge. It's up to you.
I'll leave that up to our driver. I'm just telling him where to go.
Yes.
Are we allowed to break from the vehicle yet?
You've got another few minutes, probably like 90 seconds or so, till you need to change heading. Oh, do you mean like get out? Like,
yes.
Yeah, you can get out now if you want to. You can go fly.
All right. I'm gonna go and see what I can see from the air.
All right.
Well, we're not near yet where we think we have to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're nowhere near where you need to go yet. You're like near, I don't know.
We're still pretty close to Alexandria if we.
Yeah, you're probably at. Yeah, you've
10
been
minutes.
going for like 8 minutes. You're probably near Kafar El Douar because you're just cutting across fucking farmland.
All right.
You're getting close to another town, another city, which you spot as you jump out and fly around. Ooh, there's a train station here, which my mouse immediately found somehow. Yeah, this is pretty easy driving for your car. Yuri, the fences are pretty substandard. You're just sort of rolling over them.
I try and hop them when possible.
Oh yeah, because you've got spider legs on your car, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I avoid crushing all of their fences.
I think Amriel is going to slip out the passenger window and leap into the air. Obviously keeping the same heading and course, keeping the car in sight. She just wants to orient herself, get like a bird's eye view of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't really see anything too useful, unfortunately. I was like, oh, maybe you can see one of the other race teams, but I don't think you would be able to.
All right. My thoughts were I have some Arcana knowledge. Can I use that to see if I can sense flows of magical energy or ley lines, geographical features that would.
Do you have a skill roll that you want to make there?
Yeah, just Arcana knowledge.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Let's see.
Failure would be interesting, so roll.
Okay. Well, I broke even. I got a +0.
You definitely can feel magical energy. It's tastes kind of off, is the best way to describe it. You're probably not, you weren't part of the crew that dealt with the Exodus, so you're not familiar with Egyptian flavors
No.
of magic. So yeah, it just tastes a bit off. It's a bit too spicy. But you do think that as you might be able to... Probably the Nile's real important to ancient Egyptian culture, and therefore would hold that it was important to their magic. So you'll probably be able to find some more useful information when you get closer to the Nile itself, which is like some time away. Yeah, you might be able to go that way. I don't know why you would choose to go that way, but you could go that way. You guys see that timer run out as you're heading towards Kafar El Dawar. Where are you going to go now? You now can take whichever path you wish. You don't have to continue heading southeast anymore.
I say we turn and follow the main road just out the other side of Kafar El Dawar.
Mm-hmm.
And then we
Do you want to take the one that's gonna head down towards this hospital that's on the map, or do you want? There's another one that peels off just the other side.
Yeah, the one that sort of essentially runs northeast up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The Kafar El Dawar motorbus, which I assume means motorway. Yeah, that's probably going to get you closer to where you need to go.
Yeah, and I think I map out to follow that and then cross one of the bridges over the Nile before we loop around.
There's a bridge in Mutabas. If you take that bridge, you'll then be on the right side, and then it'll pretty much be a straight shot. So you just keep driving.
Feel onto there. Yep. And now I think I'll gun it now that we've now that we know what direction we're heading and we're heading in the right direction.
All right, well, make me a roll to gun it as you're dodge. You'll have to.
Yeah.
In fact, make me a roll because we'll pretty much say you're at Kyle Dwar. Make me a roll to get through the thick traffic.
So I'll drive then, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. And you can, depending on how well you can roll, you can narrate that as you wish. But
yep. Yeah. Got 0 plus my drive is 4 plus 4 extraordinary. So
all right, so
you're
doing quite well. There's a lot of some of the roads you're trying to take because obviously you're not familiar with the area, so you're just going off Google Maps. Some of the roads are quite packed that you choose. How does Yuri get through these?
I think a combination of just veering off road for portions where it gets pretty dense. Mm-hmm. And then just riding roadside through any farm field or
because you're pretty much cutting through the city. So I guess you're cars going up one wheel on the wall of buildings.
And then when there's individual cars, then it's sort of just the 4 wheels jack up on their telescopic suspension, and then cruise over one or it does. It specifically has the ability to jump. With its hydropneumatic suspension.
Nice. You get to... Over you notice the police are starting to follow you. Loud sirens blaring. They're shouting something in whatever the dominant language of Egypt is. I think it's Arabic.
I know what they're shouting. I know every language. This will be
pull over! pull over now and surrender your vehicle, and you will. We will show you leniency.
Oh, Yuri, the local constabulary wants us to pull over and surrender our vehicle.
Oh,
Seems inadvisable if we wish to win the race.
I'm gonna run interference with the cops once I see that we're being followed.
All right.
One of the trappings that I have on my demon warrior skill is menace. So I'm just gonna dive bomb them and let out another one of those horrible, stuck pig demonic war cries.
Brilliant. The cops see your shadow and are like, "What is that?" And then you drop down and screech, and one of them swerves to get away from you and basically T-bones a wall. He's like, "Ah!" Smash right into a tea shop. Another one is pulls down a side street. You think you're doing pretty well. You can hear sirens and see the cop cars on parallel streets trying to follow you.
Yep.
But it doesn't look like they want to get too close anymore.
Wow, what a surprise.
Does anybody have any kind of notice skill?
I have
or
alertness.
power?
I also have
Alright.
alertness.
I have
Make me some alertness. Ryan, you get a +1 because you're flying
Okay.
above everyone.
Four effect.
Nice.
Okay.
Sweet. 5.
2.
Nice. All right, so Ariel, you see this first. I'm going to assume you guys don't have comms with one another because you didn't establish that at any point.
Nope.
No.
You see that the cops have set up a roadblock on the edge of town. They're going to try and stop you leaving.
Yes. Good.
Just don't vanishing point us and we'll be good.
Okay. Do we see this as well?
You
We don't have the angle for it, really.
You don't see it yet, but you do notice that something's off. Surely they would the cops wouldn't stay away from you for this long. They would be doing something. You can tell from their behavior that there's got to be something coming up. And basically, the minute you round that corner, it'll be like, well, you know what they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Does the car have any offense stuff?
No, but it does have jumping.
Yeah, it can bite and jump over.
So, yes. So essentially, we turn the corner, and then it's just imagine a cleared strip of road.
Do you want to tell them, Amriel? Do you swoop down and?
Yeah, I will swoop down and fly in front of the car just a little parallel and make a motion with my hands wall.
Mm-hmm. My voice blares out of the radio, and I'm like, "Clear the way!"
All right, Emriel, you fly up and you
through.
actually see that the cops have set up a roadblock on the road out of town, the Al Mahalig Road. There appears to be a few cars that are still on the road there, just in front of where the cops have blocked off, and they're shouting, "Please clear the way! We have set up a roadblock to try and apprehend some criminals. Please move off the road." Do you do anything to help the police get these people out of danger?
Yes. With do I have enough time? I have the physical force trapping on my demonic warrior skill, and it's a descendant tier, and I'm quite strong.
Real tough.
Do I have time to pick the cars up and set them down gently?
I would say that you can sort of push a car off the road.
Okay.
If you focus on one side of the road, whichever side you want, you can clear a straight path for Uriel. Yuri. Sorry, I keep saying Uriel because angels.
Yeah. Yeah. In that case, I will. Fly ahead and start pushing cars out of the way so that they can, get by.
The cops are very confused for a moment as to why you're pushing these cars out of the way, and you hear them shout, demon creature, please cease and desist. You are under arrest. If you do not submit to our authority, you will be fired upon. Do you ignore them?
How clear is the road?
You think that if Yuri makes a good driving check, he, should be able to get through. He'll have to thread the needle a little.
All right. In that case, Uriel.
I'm real.
You got me doing it now.
Uriel.
We're all fucking up our names.
Yeah. In that case,
I'm good.
Amriel is going to face the cops. One of the skills that I gave myself was Flaming Gladius. So it's basically a sword of fire that I can call to me whenever I want. It takes a turn to manifest, but she holds up her hand and the flaming sword appears in it.
It sort of slowly materializes, like it just sort of starts as like this burning spreading out through your hand.
Yeah. There's first there's like a glow, and then you can kind of see the hilt. And then as the blade comes into being, it ignites along the length of it. And then she just holds it up and she shouts back. She doesn't speak Arabic or whatever they speak in Egypt. Like you said, whatever the local dialect is, she doesn't.
I should really double check, but you guys continue.
What
Egyptian soft drink? That's from an earlier Google search.
If she understood, submit to
Egyptian
us.
Arabic.
Yeah, the official language is Arabic, and the national language is Egyptian Arabic.
Okay. If she can understand what they're saying, then she shouts at them, if you think you can arrest me, come and take me.
If contextually, it's pretty obvious they're trying to arrest you.
Yeah.
You see them all sort of look to one another, you see one of them sort of push one of the other cops ahead and say, yeah, you go do it, Mr. Brave Guy. Weren't you just saying how, I'd show that base raider who's boss? Yeah, do it now. Go on. You've got your service pistol. Go fight a demon. No one seems to want to join in as you hear the familiar sound of the Datsun 10,000 roaring around the corner.
Yeah, and so when I'm in the car, essentially my voice comes out of the radio, and the samurai suit just sort of sits immobile in the driver's suit. But yeah, so I said to Greg, I'm like, Greg, can you cover us? Lay down some.
In what sense?
Obscure their line of sight.
Oh, no.
Fair enough.
No, I can't do that. That's not in my skill set.
Nope.
Yeah,
all right. Fair enough.
I can take apart your car, but that's not really going to help.
Take apart the car.
I could stealth myself, but
that's not what we're looking for, Greg. It's fine.
You can build a nice big battering ram on the front of it.
If given enough time, yes.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so instead of all right, Greg, buckle in or what have you.
Greg just settles down into the floor of the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fog just goes to a ground fog.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so on this stretch, I'm just gonna essentially floor it again, and then I'm imagining it essentially like come around the corner screaming, rev it hard, and then the suspension like slowly like cranks down into like high tension.
Yeah.
And then just like flooring it straight at the police. Essentially, right? I mean, I think Amriel is just like standing in the way, so essentially driving straight behind at Amriel's back.
Yeah, you're aiming for Amriel because you know, they'll jump into the air at the last minute. It'll be super cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully, our cameras will pick that up.
Hopefully. This is probably the first exciting thing to happen in today's event. Like, there's probably a lot of footage of the survivors beeping their horns trying to get through traffic. It's like, who thought this motorway would be so close?
Yeah, just Valkyrie's like stuck in a traffic jam.
Yeah, going the wrong way. They are so pissed.
Just trying to find a U-turn, babe.
And here we are. Angel, demon with a flaming sword, jumping a police barricade.
It's gonna be good.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm imagining at the last second, essentially, like, Emerald is standing there with flaming sword, and then the car just, like, soars over her, over the entire police barricade, as she, like, does whatever you require. So, roll for this?
I guess. Drive?
Drive, also the car has jump.
Their hand up like Free Willy.
Oh, you have a jump skill for the car?
Yeah, the car has hydrodynamic suspension +1, which has the leak trapping.
Make me a jump check then. I mean, it can't really go too bad for you. The worst thing that happens is you hit Unreal.
That could go badly for me, but
I'm fine.
we'll see.
Okay, so I came out with net 0, but if
You could invoke an aspect to try and... You can re-roll with an invoke, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can invoke, or you could go for a +2.
+2 is only going to give me a +1, so I guess I'll invoke. Okay, so I'll invoke. Well, I feel like the car has the aspect 9 speed, 6 speed, 900 horsepower, 2-door sedan. But when I am the car, I have the aspect Rally Race.
Which one do you think is more relevant?
I feel like the car, actually.
All right.
Yeah, basically, you just pick whichever one you think works best, and as
indeed.
long as you can make a good case for it to Ray, and he says sure, then you can use that.
Yeah. You know, you've got a shit ton of speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't
And
need to
then you
get that
spend a fate
high.
point.
We just need to go very fast.
Yeah, and then you spend a fate point, basically.
Yep.
So you're going to go for the reroll?
Yes, I'll go for a reroll.
Alright.
Don't do worse.
I did not worse, but not much better. I got 1.
One's
offense.
enough.
Yep.
You just barely clear. All the cops are ducking.
Like one like the tire clips one of their like police lights and it just like shatters.
Yeah,
In
indeed.
this slow motion.
Yeah, and then you like smash into the ground, and just the other side of the police barricade is the turn you need to make. So now make me a drive check.
Yeah.
To hand
Easy,
brake turn.
5 or 5.
Yeah, nice. You just fucking skid right round the corner. And Amriel, what do as you've just been a total badass and just stood there?
Amriel is going to dismiss her sword and then give the police kind of like a disgusted grunt and then leap into the air.
Nice. You do a nice hypotenuse and catch up to the car. And then it's pretty much just clear sailing all the way to the base, really. Or where you think the base is. There's no other obstacles.
That's one for the highlight reel for today.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you pretty much just drive to Mutabus. Do you guys want to, like, stop and get some food in Mutabus?
No. Because none of us really eat.
Well,
Right, you head up
I mean, we
Bor
could
Said.
have a brief like vignette of just like us at a petrol station, like filling up
Wait.
and the
You
counter.
fill up in Mutabus.
Robot samurai and demon leaning against the side of the car.
A cloud walks into the
One of the
bar.
attendants comes out and is just like, no open flames, please.
How much
Inside-
do the Greg walks in, how much do I need to pay you for the fuel?
Your liquefied petroleum.
Inside the gas station, there's a television on showing our dramatic face-off with the cops. And then there's just the attendant is looking between the television and our car.
Yeah, because it would be like the newscast. It wouldn't be, because Raiderade's only broadcast on online. So he's like
it's just the
on
Egyptian
a
news.
cathode ray tube television. There's grainy footage of you three.
Like cell phone
Dukes.
footage of me like facing off, staring down the cops with my sword.
And then Dukes of Hazzarding a police barricade.
Those ethereal boys are at it again.
The attendant comes
And then
out.
we just grab a couple of bottles of Raiderade and then head up.
Do you drink the Raiderade as you step out of the gas station?
And,
Because
like,
there's cameras
it's-
watching you.
Oh,
yeah, there's
yeah.
a camera, and I essentially just like pour it into my face grill and then like hold it up, like Raiderade, and then crush the bottle.
You see the camera little holographic pops up. Like the people wouldn't be able to see it filming, but the holographic pops up with a thumbs up. The cameraman who's filming is like, "Thank God they did the product placement correctly.
Yeah.
If they'd come out with a Coke, I would have had to have cut this footage."
Well, we've got a 30-second delay for just that reason.
Yeah, indeed. God damn it, they're promoting Coca-Cola. Those bastards. Those corn-fed assholes.
Is Raiderade? Is it more like Red Bull or Gatorade?
It's both. It's
Okay.
it's a sports,
Hydrating.
It's
And
a
energizing.
hydrating, energizing, caffeinated
Gotcha.
sports drink. It's the #1 drink for base rating.
Oh, all right.
Apparently.
All right.
It's a very niche market, but all right.
Well, as I said in our pre-planning, the Raiderade was a consortium of various energy drink companies from around the world that were all like did various sponsored superhero energy drink endorsements and stuff.
Yeah.
And then all their marketing props disappeared. So they're like, shit, what are we going to do? Then base rating became a thing. So then they
Jump on it.
basically did they all, what is the word? They all united together and became Raiderade. And then all the various like regional flavorings just became different flavors of Raiderade. So
Raiderade.
instead of it being England champion energy drink, it became Raiderade English edition.
Right.
But yeah, you guys
Yeah,
had
so you grab some Raiderade Cairo.
yeah, you have Raiderade Cairo. You head out with the bus. Yeah, that reminds me. Where's that energy? Where's that flavored fucking? Yeah, you guys are heading towards this place. Yeah,
Cool.
you rock up. Doesn't look like anyone else is there. You're basically parked just on the edge of a town, like in a field. You're right near the Nile. And I'm guessing that these squares that are in the Nile are probably some kind of aquatic farming thing.
I guess so.
It could be like fish traps or something. I'm not quite sure what they're meant to be. It's not clear. They go up the whole river, so they might just be weird map markers of some kind. They could be something that's there when the Nile is low. I know it doesn't vary its water level as much as it used to, but It could be that those are things that are there when the Nile's low, because they do appear to be on the edges still. But whatever. The point is, you're at the edge of the Nile.
Yep.
Well, my research indicates that this is the most likely position of the base, but we don't know where exactly it is from here. Amriel, do you want to do an aerial survey?
I could do that.
Egyptian Raiderade is grapefruit flavored.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not
Good thing we
great.
can't taste it.
Well, Amriel can taste it.
Well,
She
she's
probably-
a demon.
Yeah, she probably appreciates the flavor of grapefruit.
Yeah. I
Everything just
certainly
turns
don't.
to ash in her mouth.
I had my first grapefruit juice when I was in Shanghai. I did not appreciate it. I was like, oh my god, why do people drink that?
Yeah,
It's
All right, so
way
yeah.
too sour.
Amriel spreads her wings and takes flight, and she's gonna do an aerial survey, see what she can find.
All right, are you gonna roll anything?
Yeah. Which I'm gonna go with investigation this time. It's the same. I got them both a +1.
All right.
But I'll look for physical signs.
All right.
This time instead of like magical ley lines and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. I got a +1.
Nice.
I'm gonna invoke one of my aspects for a +2 to bump that up to a +3.
Which aspect and why?
The aspect I'm gonna invoke is older than Methuselah, literally. Because Amriel has been around for a long time, and she's seen a lot of, being a soldier or formerly a soldier in Heaven's Army.
And
She's
then
seen
a
lot of,
soldier in Hell's army.
and then a soldier in Hell's Army. She's seen a lot of people try to hide their positions, so she knows a lot of the common tricks.
I can't remember the name of the Jewish ninjas that are from history. They're basically the earliest example of cloaked assassins. What you just made me think of there. For some reason. Anyway. Sure. So you're having a look around. With that invoke, you look around and it's not obvious that there's any buried structures from the air. However, people live near here. If it's here, they must know something.
Mm.
There's gotta be someone in that town that's willing to talk.
And if they're not, hey, we can work with that too.
Yeah, you're a demon, so,
All right.
So, yeah, Amriel touches down and she says, I see nothing from the air, but this place is crawling with humans. One of them must have seen something.
We should talk to them.
Amriel looks meaningfully over at Yuri.
What? What are you looking at me for?
They're
I'm
just
like,
trying to
what?
see what you think.
What?
Well,
I just feel like any meaningful look from Azrael is like mildly disconcerting.
yeah,
Now
probably.
it's Azrael. Apparently.
I'm all over the place.
I know, you're all the angel names.
Amriel.
She says, well,
Yeah?
the
Yeah, talk to
options
people.
are the vaguely human-looking robot, the
Mm-hmm.
effluvium, or
Or the horribly disfigured demon.
Kids love
I see your
robots.
Kids, true.
I can translate for you.
Ideal. How about
Yeah,
Amriel, you
indeed.
stay here?
Amriel could stay here and do some arcane stuff.
Well, Amriel doesn't really have very much arcane knowledge. Most of her power is beating the shit out of things.
Well, yeah, but you might find something. I mean, I'm not gonna fuck you hard if you fail.
All right. Yeah, in that case, I will continue to.
As long
scout
as
from
you
the
don't
air.
try and cast a spell, you'll be fine.
Yeah. All right then. I'm going to continue to scout from the air to see what I can find as far as magical signs or anything that trips my radar.
We might go like 10 minutes overtime, but
That's fine.
I'm not gonna go any more than that.
All
Just
right.
so that you know. So we're pretty close to the end now. So Yuri,
Mm-hmm.
where are you gonna go in town? What kind of location are you gonna look for? It's a pretty small town.
Yeah.
There's only one or two like shop fronts, if any.
Okay. I'm gonna actually just kind of like rumble down the main street, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly. Kind of thinking, given that we have this enormous tricked out car, that we might gather a bunch of the local children, presumably.
Well, you pretty much already drove through the town to get here, so you're basically just going back along the road you came in.
Yeah.
Unless you came down the coast here, which I doubt, because it's not the most obvious way to get to your location. So yeah, some kids were looking down the road, and then are you walking in your robot, or are you driving the car
in the
down
car.
the drag? All right, so you're rolling the car back down the drag there, and some kids are like coming out and looking, and they're saying like, "Oh, who are you?" in Arabic, and blah 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 blah. They all seem very excited by your weird ass car.
Yeah, I'll shift back into the samurai in the driver's seat and kind of like lean out the window, looking back at Greg, being like, "You got this."
No.
He just like whisper to me.
Greg, on the back seat of the
Yes.
Datsun 10,000, there is a case of Raiderade.
Oh. Would ask the young human children if they would like some free Raiderade.
Is that suitable for children? Like,
This
Well,
one
so
isn't sure.
in Egypt, they don't have to put that advisory on the can.
yeah, I kind of like look at the bottle and I'm like, there's nothing on here that says against it.
This one is still trying to
It's not
understand the
pregnant,
limits of
it's
biological functions.
Caffeine
yeah, I
is
got.
only a mild narcotic.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure they probably drink coffee anyway.
Or tea.
Yeah, I don't think the kids would, to be
Yeah.
honest.
They
I
would
was
definitely
actually
be
not-
drinking tea.
Coffee's not. Yeah.
Ian posted this thing on Facebook earlier about a coffee shop in Australia, actually, that has
It's in Adelaide.
a drink that contains half of what scientists suspect is the lethal limit of caffeine.
Yeah. It's been doing the rounds on social media.
So they just dump powdered caffeine into it?
Maybe we should go to Adelaide for a insert quest here trip.
Yeah.
I don't even drink coffee, but I feel like that'd be a fun adventure.
Yeah, I like toss a couple of bottles of Raiderade down to them, and lean out the window to be like, "Hey kids, we're looking for a top secret base. You know any strange things around? Any cool stuff?"
Greg, do
Greg?
you translate? Is
Yes.
it humorous when you translate, or is it just an exact translation?
Yeah, how does Greg translate it?
No, I'll just translate exactly what he says.
Okay.
Alright.
And then vice versa, what they say.
The kids seem to say nothing of substance, to be honest. And then you see there's like a tea house sort of thing. Tea houses in the Middle East and the Egypt and places like that tend to look a bit more like it's tea, and it's also like a hookah bar, and they have black tea obviously, and like the tea is sort of looks like they have like sugar cane crystals and stuff that they pour the tea through. It's kind of a bit of a pouring method similar to prepping absinthe in that regard. So it's sort of like an open shop front, and like you see a bunch of people, old people stand up, and then this old woman walks towards you and is like shooing the children away. And she's like, "What are you, Greg? Translate. What are you doing? Corrupting our youth."
Well, we meant no offense. Sorry.
What are you doing here? What do you want? What are you looking for? How can we move you out of our town?
We hear there might be some sort of anomalous structure around.
Anomalous doesn't quite translate too well. The woman is confused.
Strange.
You know of any strange plants or undead mummies?
This business. Fine. Sure. She takes you to a house
Okay.
on the edge of town. She knocks on the door, and an old gentleman comes in. Is like, "What do I need?" They talk. The basement is mentioned. Basements are not common features of houses in Egypt, I wouldn't think. Now that I know why basements are built. And he sort of gestures for Yuri to follow him inside.
Okay, yeah.
Not me?
Well, you can also come inside.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he doesn't assume that the cloud is the one to be gestured to.
Yeah, indeed.
That's true. Fair assumption.
Who assumes that the cloud is in charge?
What is that hookah smoke just hovering there for?
Yeah. You come inside, and then he sort of pushes aside a table, and there's a rug. Why would you put like a nice rug under a table? And then he pulls the rug. He pulls the rug aside, and it's not a secret door so much as it is a bunch of wooden planks in a dirt floor. Well, a sort of a concrete floor. It's so worn and old that it looks like a dirt floor. Mm-hmm. And he lifts up the planks, and there's it almost is like a large stone well that goes down real deep. Notice that the farmland around here is doing real well. It seems like their crops are... The other crops around at the moment seem to be sort of still in their growing cycle, whereas these look like they're ready to harvest. And it looks like this town's doing all right for itself. It's pretty much the farmland that's on this southern tip here, but it spreads a bit. So perhaps whatever the meta gardener did has seeped into the surrounds some.
Yeah. Greg says to the people, "Thank you very much for your assistance. It is my understanding that humans enjoy gold. Would you like some gold?"
Yes?
So Greg, what's in the is there anything else in the basement?
It's not so much a basement as it is an abandoned well. But it's way wider than a well should be.
Gotcha. Is there like a rock or something lying around on the floor?
Sure, you pick up one of the stones that line the well, like one of the rough cut stones.
Greg envelops one of the stones, and one of my abilities is that I have a workspace and I have craft and repair. So I'm just going to transmute the stone into a brick of gold.
Isn't alchemy? No, I'm thinking of that other thing. That other.
Basically, I'm going to take it apart and reassemble it into gold.
So you're taking apart like the atoms then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You're adding on some extra electrons and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just reassembling it all. So it might be a little smaller, but So the stone like floats up into the middle of Greg, and again just sort of evaporates like it's Alka-Seltzer dropped in a cup of water. And then
Does it come out as a uniform shape?
yes, it is a perfect cube.
A cube? I would have gone for sphere. A perfect cube of gold, about probably a third the size of the stone you picked up. You drop it on the ground, and they're just like, what the...
Thank you very much for your assistance.
Do you tell them your plan that you're going to be going into this base and maybe they should get out of this building?
Oh, yeah. I'm also going to tell them, if anyone else comes by asking about this, could you tell them that you don't know what they're talking about? I could give you more gold.
We don't really know what you guys are doing.
Well, just don't tell them that you know about this.
Sure, we'll try to shoo the weirdos along.
Would you like more gold to help you with that task?
Sure.
I'm basically bribing them.
Yeah.
They
follow. They're just confused by your demeanor.
Yeah. Greg does the same thing again and poops out another cube of gold.
Terrifying bursts of energy as you fuck around with the weak nuclear force.
As he pulls apart the atoms, the electricity gouts inside his little cloud get, more intense.
The old man's hair starts falling out.
No, it starts standing up. Everyone's hair stands on end.
Well, I meant all the radiation you'd probably be producing from basically transmuting atoms.
Yeah.
Well, I guess fusion doesn't produce... No, but you've got to perform fission first. You've got to... You've got to take these things apart before you can add them together.
It's hand-wavy. It's hand-wavy super science.
I know. Well, presumably you'd use the radiation produced to power the further reactions. So, it's quite efficient.
Yes. And if there's any extra, it just powers me.
Yeah, it's very close to perpetual energy, except for the fact that, certain molecules are completely destroyed.
Wow.
Well, converted into energy, because they can't be destroyed.
In that case, Amriel's going to head toward the house that is, flashing disconcerting.
Did you make that Arcana roll, by the way?
I did not. Let's see.
Yeah, because there's still info you might get from it.
Okay. Yeah. Alright. I'm at +2.
Well, so you're pretty sure you know how Scout Team 1 spotted this. You assume that Scout Team 1 has some kind of sorcerer on their team, because holy fuck, there's a shit ton of energy under here.
Oof.
It's like a release valve hasn't been opened for a few years.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of magical energy pent up under this spot, waiting to be released.
So the base has magical blue balls. That's great.
That's not how I'd put it, but sure. But yes, you guys now have the location of the base, and so next run we'll begin our infiltration.
Bum bum bum.
I can't remember. Are there end of session things in this?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Cool. So yeah, it'd probably be end of adventure either way. So that will be next run.
I know you can choose to give us milestones if you want, but I don't think we've really earned one yet.
I also don't fully understand how milestones work yet, because we didn't really deal with them properly in Gods and Monsters.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I need to look up between this week and next week. Although we'll see how next week goes, because our next game day is the day that Google Hangouts on Air stops being a thing.
Oh, what is happening to it?
We're meant to be switching to YouTube Live, but Google hasn't made it clear how that's going to work. So,
oh boy.
That'll be a fun experience.
Yeah.
Indeed. We may not run next week, but
No.
hopefully it'll work fine. We
Yeah,
might have to
I'm sure it
switch to local audio recording for online games because Google Hangouts will still be real. Google Hangouts on air will not.
Right.
At the moment, if you go to YouTube Live and try to schedule a live event, it basically says, do you want to use custom conferencing software or do you want to use Google Hangouts on air? And I'm like, is that what the option's going to be after September 13th? Because
would Skype work?
if we use Skype, we basically have to do localized recording because Skype doesn't support
Gotcha.
in software recording. I mean, doing local recording wouldn't be that bad. It's difficult. It's just annoying to edit because I have to match up 4 audio tracks.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go. We'll see what happens. I will
All
try
right.
and get on early and work out what's going to happen. Either way, everyone should try and have Audacity installed on their computer for next week, because if it turns out we need to do local recording, you can do it in that, and it's free software.
Yep.
Sounds
Ryan
great.
probably already has it.
Yep. It's what I use to edit the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, so how did you guys find the first run of Base Raiders?
It's good.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, I hate character creation in this system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Strange Fate is a huge pain in the ass up front, and then it plays wonderfully.
Yeah.
It's got the same thing as Wild Talents, where it's like they for some reason the game designers think that the charts they've made are really easy to follow, but they're not.
Yeah.
And
the whole character creation flow isn't quite really
the way the character
explained.
creation chapter is laid out in Base Raiders is not optimal, in my opinion. I don't like the way that it explains all the ways to build strange skills before it shows you what a normal skill it looks like.
Yeah.
I think that
And
it
yeah,
should
stuff
be normal skills, then it explains strange skills, because then you know whether you even need a strange skill. You might just pick normal skills and be really, really good at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or bump
And
a
it doesn't
normal
even,
skill up to, a different tier.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
But,
and there's a lot of it's easy to miss some of the explanation points, like the pyramid thing and that kind of stuff. They should really be in pool boxes so you don't miss that point.
Yeah.
Because you have to really thoroughly read the whole section multiple times to make sure you haven't missed any nuanced bits.
I understand why it is the way it is for the most part. It is this complicated so you can create the powers you need.
Yeah, the customization.
But just because that's
just because it's complicated doesn't mean it shouldn't be.
Just because that's great doesn't mean that it's also easy to follow. Just
and some
because
kind of
it's necessary.
trapping summary would be good, because checking whether a trapping has tier benefits is always a pain, because you have to go and check that one. Yes, it does. What are they? Do I have them?
Yeah. But we got through it.
Yeah.
The outer dungeon to this level, to this base, wasn't as difficult either as will necessarily be in future games, because I knew we'd have to do a lot of setup.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And just something I should keep in mind, which would affect the car mostly, which would be good. I have craft at Ascendant tier, so once per session, I can spend a fate point to create a theme-appropriate piece of work, a piece of equipment with 3 improvements, or add 2 improvements to an existing piece of equipment that lasts for the rest of the session. So, I could give our car...
Oh, that's really useful for when you guys are prepping for a base race.
So big, okay, our car has wings and a jet engine now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to be racing through the snow. It's got snow treads.
Base on the moon, it's a fucking space car now.
Exactly. I just have to spend a fate point to do it.
Yeah, that'll be cool. All right, sweet. So don't refresh any of your fate spends, because basically these are 2-part adventures.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your fate points will be at the same when we start next time. But yeah, I think you guys did well. I like the way this works. I think it's going to be fun to play.
Yeah, I'm liking it.
Yeah, I think our characters have a great dynamic.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to stop the broadcast now. Farewell from the past. I'm Raymond.